If you're running an e-commerce brand and you're not generating at least 30% of your revenue from email and SMS, you're leaving a disturbing amount of revenue on the table. I'm talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. Now, I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that because we see it every single day. You've done the hard part. You've built the brand, you're driving traffic, and you're making sales. But here's the thing most operators miss. Traffic is expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive. Ads are getting volatile, and repeat purchase rate is the only thing that helps keep your margins healthy and your cash flow predictable. Retention is not a nice to have, it's a necessity, and it's your profit center. When email and SMS are done right, they become the most reliable growth lever in your business. You get to print money on demand without spending $1 more on ads. I'm Nikita, and I run Aspect. Over the last 5 years, we've helped brands go from 10% all the way up to 30, 40, and even 50% of revenue coming in from email. And the compounding effect that has on lifetime value, average order value, and customer acquisition cost payback is insane. You literally buy back control of your business. So in this video, I'm pulling together every tactical retention playbook I've shared over the past few years into one mega crash course. No fluff, no BS, just exactly how we help e-com brands squeeze every drop of revenue from email and SMS. We're going to walk you through the full stack, the technical setup on how to make sure your emails get delivered, campaign strategies that generate more clicks without relying on discounts, flows that run your back-end revenue on autopilot, design that gets opened, read, clicked, and converted, and of course, how to dominate Q4 and Black Friday, Cyber Monday without burning out your list. So if you're running a brand doing over 100K a month, or you're an operator in charge of driving retention, this is your full playbook. So bookmark the video, watch it twice, steal everything, and let's get into it. Now, before you even think about sending emails, you need to make sure your setup doesn't tank your deliverability. Here's how to configure your sending domain the right way. So this is a dummy testing account that we use for all of our email audits and testing out any new strategies. So this would be a perfect case. So you want to go ahead and go to the bottom, go to settings, go to email, and then go to domains. So this is where you set up your sending domain. Let me go ahead and split off these windows, show you exactly what needs to be done. So we have Namecheap on one side and we have Klaviyo on another side. The domain that we're going to be testing through is going to be my first name and first initial. It's nikitav.com. One thing that I would recommend doing is using Google Admin Toolbox. And what this does is it shows you exactly what records are set up and what records aren't. This domain I'm not using at all. I'm not sending. This domain just redirects back to Aspect. So I'm not even worried about any of these records because nothing's being sent from it. It's purely for showing you how to set this up. But you can see here, DMARC isn't set up, DKIM isn't set up. All these different things aren't set up. That's to be expected. But what we're looking for is DMARC to not be set up. So what you can do is just plug in your domain, click run checks, and you can see here that DMARC is not set up. At the end of this, you'll see that it's going to be set up. So let's go back to Klaviyo. Let's go back to email. Let's go to domains, set up a sending domain, and the website is going to be nikitav.com. We're going to use the sending subdomain to be send.nikitav.com. And we want to make sure that this is dynamic routing for the best possible deliverability. Click next, select your DNS provider. It is Namecheap. So it's going to tell you what you need to do. So sign into your account, select domains, select manage, and then go to the advanced DNS tab, which we are already at. We're gonna go next, and then you're gonna have to copy these values over into your DNS records. So this is very, very easy. What you need to do, at least in Namecheap, all I have to do is click new record, select NS record. I'm just gonna do this a lot so that way I can just easily copy. So the host is gonna be always send. So we're gonna do send, 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 and then this is just gonna be at. Sometimes in different hosting providers, this is either a blank or an at, so it doesn't really matter. But if it gives you an error, just leave it blank, or if it gives you an error if it's blank, just put an at there. And then we're gonna go ahead and copy all these values, which is ns.klaviyo.com. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess I don't need this fifth one. And then we're gonna copy this Klaviyo site verification. Now we're gonna go ahead and click Save All Changes, leave the TTL to automatic or whatever is the pre-saved setting there. Sometimes it's It's a number called 3600, sometimes .matic. It really depends on the hosting provider. So this is now updated, and we're going to go ahead and click verify records. And I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video and come back in about 10 to 20 minutes because that's usually how long it takes to propagate these name servers. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so I didn't have to wait 10 to 20 minutes. Actually, you had to wait like 2 minutes. When you click verify records and all of these green checkboxes come up, that means you set up everything correctly. So good job. And then there is a small checkbox that you have to check here saying, I understand that I may need to limit emails engaged recipients for 2 to 4 weeks. Now what that specifically means is that if you are a brand new email account that you just started like 2 weeks ago, you bought the domain 3 weeks ago and you haven't sent anything, you have to be very, very careful because this is where you have to kind of warm up your email account, and you don't want to send out 30,000 emails right away because 90% of the time, those emails are going to just go straight to spam because you don't have any domain reputation, you haven't sent any emails before, and you're starting off the gate with sending so many emails to Google, to Klaviyo, to Yahoo, to everybody in the email system, thinking that you're just going to be spamming people because a lot of people just buy these domains, rip through them, sending out spam, and it just doesn't work out. So you want to make sure that you ramp up. If you're already a Klaviyo customer and you've been sending out emails for a year, a few months already, and you're in a flow of constantly sending out emails, then you're good to go with that switch over. You don't have to limit your size pool. But this Klaviyo article also highlights that, look, for existing Klaviyo customers that are just moving to this dedicated sending domain, you don't have to warm up your infrastructures again as long as your domain has been registered in the last 30 days and you've used this domain to send out emails already in the past. To new Klaviyo customers, it recommends to use only high engagement data, so people that have already opened, people that have already clicked, and have already been using Klaviyo's integration to sync open and click events. So that's one thing you need to be looking out for. So we're gonna go ahead and click OK. We're gonna go ahead and click activate, and look at that, we got our sending domain done. So pretty much the only hard part left is setting up your DMARC policy. So here we are back in our domains. We're gonna go ahead and click add a new record. We're gonna add a text record. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that the record name is DMARC, just DMARC. Sometimes you need to put in DMARC.yourdomain.com or .co, whatever it is. And then the value is very simple. It's just v equals DMARC1, semicolon, p equals none, semicolon. So let's add in that semicolon, and let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go ahead and wait a minute, and we're gonna check our records here. Okay, cool. So I had to pause for a few minutes to make sure that all the records are set up, but you can now see here, I ran the check for my own domain, and we have DMARC policies set up correctly. So basically, we are now good to go, and you just need to make sure that you're only sending out from that domain in the future. Have your footer contain unsubscribe links, and don't send from Gmail and Yahoo accounts, and keep your spam complaint rate low. Now that you're set up to actually land in the inbox, let's talk about growing your list. This is the fastest way to turn your existing traffic into new email subscribers. So there are a few main ways that you can get email subscribers onto your email list. First one is paying for it. You have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok ads that are lead gen forms. And these are forms that are embedded specifically within the Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok feed where people can see the offer and subscribe if they're interested. So if you have a lead magnet or an ebook or one of those sorts of things, this is perfect for your business. Next up is embedding forms on blogs, landing pages, and any important pieces of content on your website. This could be something contextual to what is on the website. So for example, here we have a recipe blog with an email opt-in right next to the recipe that shows us, hey, do you want to see more recipes like this? Subscribe and get recipes in your inbox directly. It's easy for people to sign up because it's right there. They're already looking at recipes, they might as well subscribe. The next one is site-wide pop-ups. And essentially what this does is it pops up when a visitor's on your website, and basically you have the offer shown, and if people are interested, they put their email in and then they get that offer. And then last one is giveaways. Now this one is a little bit tricky because you will get a lot of people signed up, but the most important thing is when you're using giveaways, you want to make sure that everyone that does sign up, they go through some sort of automation to teach them more about the brand, teach them more about what you're doing, what you're selling, and essentially trying to convert as many of those people that are in the giveaway as possible into a paying customer. Let's modify your Lambo offer to the best performance. The best way to do this is to set up different A/B tests for the pop-ups that you're running or for the opt-in messaging that you're offering. There's a few things that you can do in order to maximize the amount of email subscribers coming into your list. One of the easiest things that you can do is if you're collecting both phone numbers and emails, you would want to run those into two separate steps. The first step being the email, and then the second step being an SMS number. People that have already submitted their email are more likely to give up their phone number because they've already submitted the email. And essentially we want to take advantage of that here, because if you have, your name, phone, your email, all of these forms are very overwhelming, and that's going to reduce your conversion rate for people signing on to your email list. The next test that you can run, and I've already brought this up, but having a contextual specific opt-in or pop-up onto a specific page. Just like how we have the recipes with that opt-in there, we can have a specific pop-up maybe on a collection that you have. So if you're selling clothing and you have a specific shoe collection, you can say like, hey, get info on the next shoe drop here, and then you have the opt-in pop up, and they're more likely to subscribe because it's very contextual to what they're shopping for. Next up is timing. So timing is everything. There's multiple options that you can go about this, and within Klaviyo for this example, you can either have a specific time trigger or you can have a specific percentage of the page scrolled. But typically what works best is testing out between immediate 5, 10, 20, or 30 seconds. Or you can have it go through a scroll. So if someone scrolled through 25% of your homepage or 50% or 75%, you can have the pop-up fire then. Next thing you can test is having a teaser or no teaser. Is just a pre-pop-up or having a little blurb at the bottom of the page saying like, hey, get 10% off. So you're on the radar of the person. So if they close out of the pop-up, they can still see that little teaser at the bottom of the page. The next one is having just different offers. So you can test out 10% off versus $10 off, or 10% off versus free shipping. You can set up these simple A/B tests, and that's just another way that you can test out specifics of the pop-up and see which one performs the best. Lastly, the desktop versus mobile pop-ups. So one thing to keep in mind is if you have all of your pop-ups all in one, you can split those up into one just desktop only and one mobile only, and that mobile only could convert at a higher rate than the desktop one because it's easier to subscribe to someone's email or SMS list. Now let's jump into some pop-up examples. First one we have here is from one of our clients in the arts and crafts niche. Here it's submitting at a baseline of 4.9%, so it's about 5% pop-up submission rate. And what makes this really good is it's a 4-step pop-up. We have a teaser, email submission, SMS submission, and a thank you page. So let's go through it here real quick. So we have a secret offer, and secret mystery is causing a lot of curiosity for the customer. People are curious naturally, so they want to see what's behind the wall. We kind of have an illusion of choice here. So no matter what color they pick, they're gonna get the same offer, but they select something, they're more likely to submit their info on the actual pop-up itself. And we also make it hard to say no. So instead of like close, we have I don't want to see this offer. So it's like, well, I actually kind of want to see what it is. So let me click on one of these paint buckets. Next up, we have an easy to understand offer. Nice, you got 10% off. So little thumbs up. And then we also have a contextual CTA of put your email address in and get access to the 10% off coupon code. Then we have a SMS sign up of join the painters club. So you can join club if you are a painter or if you want to be part of the painting club and get access to exclusive deals when you sign up. So again, adding in that exclusivity that people that join the SMS list get specific exclusive deals when they sign up. And then lastly, we have the thank you page. So here's your 10% offer. Here's the code. Now, if you click that shop now button, that same code is embedded into a collections page. It redirects them to a collections page. When someone adds to cart and they go to checkout, they don't have to look through their email, or they don't have to remember the code. So it's automatically embedded. Next up is a dental brand. So here it has a 10% pop-up rate. So it's really good for the industry and a really good email capture engine as a whole. Now, what made this work is we have mystery offer. Again, claim your special offer. We're not specifying the number. We're not specifying what they're getting. We also have some social proof at the bottom of see why hundreds of customers are raving about Retainers Direct. And we're also making it hard to say no of, no, I don't want the special offer. I'm passing. I don't want free money, essentially. Next up, after they submit, we have a basic welcome message of like, hey, welcome to Retainers Direct. Here's your offer. Use the code SMILE10 for 10% off your purchase. And then we have the code embedded again into that shop now button. And now lastly, this is an example of a freebie giveaway. This is a brand called Mossy Oak. During peak turkey season, we turn on this pop-up and their form submission rate is 46%. Now, this is very serious because almost 1 out of every 2 people that visit the website put their email address in to subscribe. Now, how does this work? People in the hunting space need targets to practice with. So we're giving away free turkey targets. All you have to do is just download the PDF, print them out, and you're good to go. We also have a contextual CTA of send my targets. These are my targets, send them to me. We also have a visual demo of what the targets look like, and we only turn this on during turkey season, so it's very contextual to turkey season. So you can see when you combine all of these crazy things together, you have a very highly converting pop-up because of the right time, right place, right messaging, and the right visuals. And then at the end, we have a little confirmation that says your targets have been sent. Check your email. And then lastly, shop turkey gear. If you're interested in getting turkey targets, you're more than likely interested in getting more turkey gear, getting ready for the turkey hunting season. So it goes right to the turkey collections page. It's genius. Now, once your list is growing, you need to organize it. Here's how to set up segmentation so you're not sending every email to every single person. We don't want to overcomplicate our segments because it gets really messy really quickly. So we're going to be covering 3 main categories: our master and engaged list, buyers list, and suppress list. Starting off with the master and engaged lists. The main use cases for this is to be able to send out our campaigns to all of our subscribers. This also helps trigger the welcome flow, and it helps engagement and deliverability based on the timeline of engagement. And I'll show you exactly what I mean here. So the main segments that we want to look out for is our general master list, which is everyone that has subscribed to our email marketing, our SMS subscribers, so that way we can see exactly who subscribed to our SMS subscribers in the USA, if you want to keep your SMS costs low, are engaged 15, 30, 60, 90, and 120 days. So people that are basically engaging within a certain timeline. And this is where deliverability comes into play, because if you have people that are very highly engaged in the last 30 to 60 days, but not 90 to 120 days, that is where we can slowly start to expand that window towards the 90 and 120 days by keeping those 60 and 30-day engaged people engaged, essentially. And lastly, the very highly engaged. Now, these are the people that are always opening up your emails, and at least they're opening them up in a small, short period of time. When it comes to sending, the general master list is what people send out the most. And this is what we see with our clients. Even though people say, oh, we don't want to send out to our entire list, we'll get into some specifics into other segments that we exclude from our campaigns when it comes to sending out to everyone. Moving on to the buyers category. And the purpose of these segments is to target people that have already bought and have already had a good experience with the brand, target them with product launches, send out exclusive VIP deals to people that are VIPs, suppress recent purchasers from campaigns. Here you can exclude people that have recently purchased, so that way they're not consistently getting bombarded with emails when they've already bought something. The segments here are general buyers list, so people that have at least bought once, repeat buyers, people that have bought twice or more, VIPs, and this is based on lifetime value. So this depends on your specific brand. Whatever your VIP is, whether they spent $100 with your brand, 200, 300, 400, maybe sometimes even 1,000 plus, those people are VIPs, and that's where we send out those launch emails, and that's where we send out those VIP only discounts. And lastly, purchased within the last 14 days. These are the people that we'd be excluding in our campaigns because they recently purchased and we don't want to keep sending to them. Some things you can do to upgrade your segments even further. You can segment based on people that have purchased a specific product or purchased from a specific category. Here you can either suppress the people from purchasing again. So for example, if they bought shoes and you're sending out a shoe-based campaign, you can exclude them from getting that email, or you can use this as a cross-sell or an upsell opportunity. So if they bought shoes and you're selling t-shirts, and you can include them in that cross-sell email. Lastly is the suppress list. And this one is very, very underestimated. The main reason is a lot of people talk about segmenting things based off of people's engagement or based off of people's buying behavior, which is fantastic. But a lot of brands aren't excluding people that are simply unqualified, didn't engage, or are more likely to cause harm to your deliverability. So the goal of the suppressed category, prevent sending to the wrong people that can hurt your deliverability, your domain reputation, and might lead your emails to go into spam. Here we want to avoid sending to people that just never engage, are suspicious, likely to bounce, or give you false emails for that coupon code. You need to make sure when you're sending the campaigns, you want to exclude these people from your list. So let's break down the segments here. We have the win-back flow, which isn't necessarily an exclusion from your campaigns, but it's a trigger for your win-back flow. When people haven't engaged in the last 120, 160, or 180 days, it can be added to the win-back flow as a trigger so they can go through those last chance emails before they're actually added to the delete list or added to the cleanup list. Bounced emails ×2. This is pretty self-explanatory. We want to reduce sending to the people that are bouncing, because the higher your bounce rate is, the more likely you're going to be flagged with your email service provider. Never opened, never clicked. This is pretty straightforward. These are people that subscribed but just didn't engage at all, and we want to clean those people out from the email list. No recent engagement. Again, another self-explanatory one. People that haven't engaged at all in recent times. This goes anywhere from a couple months to almost a year. Mark to spam. This one's already pre-built within Klaviyo, so we want to just exclude people that have marked to spam in our email list, because at that point we're just sending to spam emails and they're not going to go anywhere. Low engagement is another one where we just don't want to send out to people that haven't engaged with our emails at all. Simply put, they're not going to do anything positive for your email list. And lastly is suspected spam traps. These are people that just are possibly spam, haven't engaged with your emails at all, haven't bought anything, haven't even viewed your website, but subscribe to your list regardless, because it could be a bot, it could be a website crawler, or it could be simply someone that's subscribing to your email list just to see what emails that you send out. So we don't want to send out to those people. Some upgrades you can do to your suppressed category is you can start noting down all of the emails that are spam emails. Create a segment for those spam traps to automatically add them to a suppressed list. So for example, if someone subscribes to your email list and they have, this is a common one in Shopify, is the name Mark Musterman. Be on the lookout, search it up in your Klaviyo. If you have a Mark Musterman in your Klaviyo account, exclude them, because that person or that email is known to be a spam email. We've had dozens of clients with this problem. That email is added to our suspected spam traps category. You want to exclude those people from your campaign sending. If you send a lot of emails back to back to your email list where it's the same exact email, just a different subject line, and you don't want to send out to those people that have opened the email from the last email, we want to utilize this segment right here. So that way we can suppress those people that have opened recently. They're more likely to open again as we're bumping that email up in their inbox. And finally, let's make sure you're not guessing. This is how you properly A/B test so your emails get smarter and more profitable over time. But when it comes to the basics of split testing, we want to test out one variable at a time. That is a requirement. Sticking to this helps us understand what actually drove results. It'll help us determine whether the subject line performed better or was it the send time. Statistical significance is the second most important part. If you're just starting off and you have a contact list of under 1,000 people, it may not be the best idea to start A/B testing, mainly because you don't have enough data there. Once you get above that hump of 1,000 people, you can start to see enough engagement and enough contacts to know whether something has worked with enough data or whether it was a fluke because of other conditions. Now let's jump into Klaviyo and go over exactly how to set up a split test. Create a campaign. We'll just name this whatever. Let's just send out to our newsletter subscribers. This is only one because it's our test account. Continue to content. Then we'll go to subject line. We'll just do whatever. Anything with preview test. Select an email template. And now this is where we have that option to create an A/B test after we've set up our template. We'll go ahead and do that. And here we'll have different variations. So variation A, let's just do subject line A. You can name it whatever you want. This is just purely for organizational sakes. And here what we can do is also adjust the content that we want to send out. So we can change up the template and edit the email to be different. We can change the pretext, the subject line, even sometimes the sender name. Now, these are the most important parts. We want to optimize for either open rate, click rate, or revenue rate. There is another selection if you have your Shopify, your WooCommerce, or your Magento hooked up. I don't have it here because I don't have it connected, but there will be another option. So a basic rubric that we use for testing, when we want to test out our subject lines, our timing, etc., we optimize for the open rate. If we want to test out the content, the button placements, button styles, or any other things that have to do with content that affect click-through rate, we then optimize for click-through rate. And lastly, for placed order and revenue, this is mainly done for offers, content, and anything that might drive revenue further. And one thing that I'll recommend doing is before you start testing out for revenue is you need to have a bigger list. And the bigger the list, the more data you'll be able to have and make better decisions based off of statistical significance on which test won and which test lost. Now, the cool thing here at the bottom is you can have this drag scale here. And what this will help us do, Klaviyo will send out 25% to test A, 25% to test B, and determining based off of what data brought in the most results, whether you're optimizing for open rate, click-through rate, or revenue rate, it will then send out to the winner off of best response. So here we can send out 25% to A, 25% to B, and the rest to the winner. So that way we have a better performing campaign down the road. I personally only use this for open rates or click-through rates. Revenue rate, there's a delayed attribution in there, and and sometimes it's hard and a little wishy-washy to go off of revenue rate. So I would recommend only doing open and click-through rate here. You can also set a test duration so you can see it within the first 6 hours, the first 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. Depending on the send time. If it's in the middle of the night, then maybe a little bit hard. But if it's in the middle of the day, I'd say within the first 4 hours is the best way to test it out. Now let's get into some of our go-to email tests that we perform for our clients. The subject line is the first and most important one. This one helps out with open rates. If no one opens up your email, then no one is going to be clicking on it. No one's going to be buying from it. You want to optimize for your open rate, and the subject line is the best way to do that. The second best way to do that is through your send time. You want to send out your emails at an optimal send time, because if you hit the customer at the right time in the right place, they're going to buy. And you can easily set this up through a smart send time test. So once we've set everything up, what we do is go to review, schedule or send, and here we can do a smart send time test. And this purely depends on how you want to set up your smart send time. You can either do focused, which is between the best performing time for our clients, or an optimal time. This takes multiple sends to set up, and it takes 2 weeks to get this going. But once you've done that, then you can have an ideal send time that will reach your customers where they're more likely to buy something from the brand. The third best thing that we test for is call to action. So this helps with click-through rate and revenue, because the higher the click-through rate, the more likely a person is going to buy. And this will help us determine what kind of callouts in the email we need to do, any specific button colors or any specific button placements that will help drive more clicks and more revenue. Offers is another good one. Different discount types, whether it's free shipping, % off, dollars off, cash back, whatever it is, testing out different offers between different A/B tests can help you determine which offer is the best performing. And lastly, text versus email design. I showed you that you can set up different templates within your A/B test. So you can have a design template versus a text-only template and see which one generates the most click-through, the most revenue, testing through those different templates. And it helps us see which types of emails converted better when the offer was shown at the exact same time. Now that the back end is dialed in, let's talk strategy. Starting with the number one question every brand asks: what should we even send? Here's how to never run out of campaign ideas. The first framework is my favorite because it's the easiest to implement, and 90% of the time, most brands ignore it. They jump straight to trends or promos, but what we do is we start with our own content bubble. Chances are your brand has already made some kind of content around your products. Start with what you already have: your blog post, social captions, UGC, reels, and even frequently asked questions for objection handling. For example, if you're a food brand, pull recipes or pairing ideas. If you're a fashion brand, repackage style guides or seasonal trends. Outdoor brand, show how-tos, trail guides, and gear tips. You don't need net new ideas every single time. You just need new angles on what already works. The next goldmine that most brands ignore is testimonials and reviews. The good, the bad, and the hilarious. While yes, brands do use reviews in their campaigns to highlight product experiences from others in the middle of an email, but this is completely different. This is how we use reviews. Positive reviews are proof angles on here's how people are actually using this. Negative reviews are objection handling, why this is a misconception or why this misconception isn't true. The weird reviews are my favorite because they're humorous, and humor or personalization add on to the reality of the brand. We once turned a "my dog ate my retainer" into a whole reminder campaign that netted $1,500. Now, you can source all the reviews you have from Trustpilot, Yotpo, Judge Me, Looks, Google, Amazon, even Klaviyo survey flows and post-purchase quizzes. And to supercharge this, download all the reviews you have into a spreadsheet. Upload them to your favorite LLM, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Perplexity, and have it do deep research and ask it to summarize recurring themes, praise, or concerns. Now, here's a prompt I love to use. What are the common likes, dislikes, objections, and reasons people bought in these reviews? Create 5 email angles for each category and segment each category, and it will spit out a plethora of ideas that you may never even thought about. Moving on to the next idea generator. Check your direct and indirect competitors. Here's the difference between the two. Direct competitors are the ones that sell the exact same thing as you do, and indirect competitors are tangentially solving the same problem but use a different product. Now, once you have your list of competitors, go through their site and socials and look for testimonials that their customers leave, product objections they solve, blogs and emails that they're already sending. I mean, hell, we even created a burner customer inbox at Aspect that automatically tags and organizes emails from hundreds of competitor brands adjacent to what our clients sell. And the best part, we keep emails from totally unrelated industries, because sometimes being too close to the same industry boxes you in into only thinking about one certain way, and getting outside of that opens you up to new angles that you've never thought of before. For example, a skincare email inspired one of our best performing dog brand campaigns. Creativity multiplies when you leave your bubble. Moving on to the next strategy, we get outside the brand and go where our customer already is. Where do people go when they have questions? They go to Reddit, Quora, TikTok comments, Facebook groups. So what you can do is search best product type Reddit. What to look for in product before buying. What I wish I knew before using product. You'll get hundreds of real questions you can turn into winning angles, like what nobody tells you about. Here's what people get wrong about. If you're wondering this too, read this. Top myths about product that no one talks about. The next strategy has birthed some of our best performing emails. They came from tying the product to something happening now. Trend jacking without being cringe. Current sporting event, tie your brand into competition, excellence, or teams. Back to school, summer wrap-up, and productivity angles. Pop culture, careful but clever if done well. Memes, viral TikTok trends, etc. If nothing is on for current events, then use this pro tip. Use nationaldaycalendar.com to spark ideas. There's a day for literally everything. If you're selling running shoes, you can do National Running Day. If you're selling coffee, you can do National Caffeine Awareness Month. You have a pet brand, National Spoil Your Dog Day. It's another excuse to show up in someone's inbox with something playful and relevant at the same time. Now, this last one does take a bit of work, but AI has made it significantly easier. We're going to be digging into your ideal customer profile with problem-specific angles. The prompts are simple, and let's go through this together. Let's say you sell energy gels for beginner marathoners. Prompt number 1 would just be, what are the 10 biggest challenges beginner marathoners face? You'll get a pretty good list, and now we dive deeper with a follow-up prompt. Let's break down the topic of nutrition into subtopics and concerns. Now we're getting somewhere. And now let's finish it off with the last follow-up prompt. What are the common fears and frustrations people have about race day nutrition? Answer it like it's coming from a survey. Now, boom, we got 10 plus email ideas just from the fears that we got from the prompt. Like, what if I get sick during race day? What should I eat the night before? I'm scared of trying energy gels for the first time. Your customers' real words are your best copy. Now let's go through some rapid fire strategies. Number 1 is recycling top performing flow emails. If an abandoned cart or welcome email is crushing it, rework it into a standalone campaign, because if it already works, then why get it buried in the flow? Next, dig through support tickets. You can pull ideas from your help desk. Now, the most common questions and frustrations that customers get are very easy to parlay into email content that handles objections. Now, you can also send a 1-question survey. This could literally be a plain text email coming from the founder, and in the email, ask your list, what do you wish you knew before buying product? The replies practically write your next 3 to 4 emails. And lastly, you can repurpose creator content or UGC, basically take viral TikToks or Reels and turn those hooks and quotes into short, punchy campaign intros that leverage what's already working on social. And now this is how we consistently generate 10 to 20 unique email ideas per client per month, and you can do the exact same. Sending more emails doesn't always mean offering a discount. This video breaks down how to sell without using discounts. Great design isn't just pretty, it's functional. Every element should have a reason to be there to guide the focus of the customer and lead them down to a call to action. The end goal here is to make clicking off the email to be effortless. Some quick tips on proper email design is have 3 to 5 different colors that match your brand, and only utilize those 3 to 5. They should complement the email rather than distract. So pick the 3 to 5 wisely and just stick to them. Use only 2 to 3 fonts, 1 for the headline, 1 for the subheadline, and 1 for the body. Anything more than that just overcomplicates it and confuses your customers. Start incorporating GIFs, and it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just either a simple slide banner or some sort of stop motion animation, maybe 2 to 3 slides. Lastly, use a comparison chart to distinguish the value between your brand and your competitor's brand. Now, the main point I want to drive home with this is mobile optimization is key. More than 70% of people that are opening your emails are opening them on the phone. So make sure to focus on the responsiveness and the design of your email to be focused on mobile first and then desktop second. Now, moving on to email copy, starting off with subject lines. Subject lines are your first and only chance to earn the open. There's two key factors that make subject lines work really well. Number one is relatability, and number two is curiosity. And when you combine the two, that's when you have a killer subject line. So for example, with Urban Outfitters, they did a subject line that says, "Oh, these, they're for you." So that, number one, causes curiosity. It's like, for me, what is this? Like, it makes me want to open it. And what is these? So number one, they're relatable. They include the word you. And number two is they're very curiosity driven. So it's like, I want to know what's in this specific email. So things like that add up to a better experience for the customer and a better reason for them to open up your email. Now, moving on to actual email copy. This is where the brutal truth comes out. Hope you're sitting down, because no one's reading your emails. That's right, no one is reading emails anymore, at least fully. Most people are now just skimming your emails. Now, it's not that bad. It's just the current reality of the attention economy we're going through. People's attention spans are just shortening. Now, here's how you can adapt to that shortened attention span. Number one is make skimmable emails. Ditch those long essays, transform any big paragraphs into 1 to 2 sentence headlines. Start implementing more formatting into your emails. Use bold, italicized, underlined texts, and make key info pop. Something like bullet points and number list work really well to break up long paragraphs or long strings of information into small, digestible, bite-sized pieces. Now, lastly, break up that wall of text. Add images, GIFs, call to actions to break up the monotony of long-winded sentences or paragraphs. And when a person sees a giant block of text, it looks like a chore. We want it to feel effortless. Now let's talk about consistency and long-term nurture. If you're constantly sending promotions every week, you're only training your audience to buy from sales. This creates a sort of discount addiction that turns your customers into discount fiends and basically kills all of your margins and predictability. The fix? A balanced content calendar. The rule we have at Aspect is 80% content that's value-driven and nurture-driven, and then 20% that's sales and promotions focused. Let's use a shoe brand, for example, and set up a content calendar for them to use over the next month. So week 1, we can send out a nurture campaign that talks about how to care for the shoes, how to make sure that you're cleaning, storing, and maintaining them properly so that way you get the most use out of your shoes. Week 2 can address a pain point and talk about how we can break shoes in faster so that way you avoid that foot pain of having that brand new shoe. Week 3, we can cover testimonials and customer highlights and how they're enjoying their new pair of shoes. Week 4, we can talk about a specific segment of that list about running shoes and any upcoming marathons and how those marathons could benefit from a new pair of shoes and how it can make marathons a lot easier. And then last week is when we promote and have a sale going on, maybe a limited discount or a product launch or even a flash sale. This specific rhythm is what keeps your users engaged and conditioned to see the brand as a valuable asset rather than just something that's on sale. So if you want long-term success, you have to train your audience the correct way. Focus on the value and the nurture first, so that way when you're running the sales and promotions, they actually feel like a special event rather than something that your customers are constantly looking forward to in order to buy something from you. Now, are you launching a new product? Here's how to make it feel like a full-blown event and generate real hype and revenue with email and SMS. The first step is building out the funnel. Now, this is the foundation that you build your product launch off of. And before you even mention the product, your job is to build the infrastructure first. Start by creating a dedicated landing page, a simple headline, a clear offer, and a form to collect emails. Now, you're not just collecting emails, you're pre-segmenting the most interested buyers first. And the goal is to use this page across paid traffic, influencers, UGC, and organic content, and plugging it into your Facebook ads, Google ads, and TikTok ads, sending traffic to that landing page to get as much hype built as possible. The landing page essentially becomes your campaign headquarters. Now, on the second step, it's important to drop a teaser about what's going on. So 2 weeks before launch, hit your email list with a teaser. This isn't just any normal teaser or any new product coming out, it's FOMO driven. Ideally, we want to say something like, look, we're dropping 5,000 units on this day, and there are about 25,000 people on this list. If you want in and want to get the early bird, get on the launch list right now. And there you can have a quick call to action button that can start segmenting your list automatically. And then at the bottom, you can have a call to action that can record who's interested. Now, as a bonus, you can tease the product visually, like silhouettes or color swatches, maybe some little product crumbs across the way, just enough to spark curiosity. Now, on to step 3, we want to start segmenting that list of interested buyers. So anyone who clicks that call to action in the teaser email, start segmenting them. Now, you can do this easily in Klaviyo. Have a dynamic segment set up and have the main trigger be link clicks within this email or sign up forms. And these people go into a launch list segment, and this is essentially your golden bucket of people that you will be reaching out when you launch first. So on to step 4, we want to build up more and more hype, and we typically do this about 7 days before the launch. So 1 week before the launch, send out your social proof campaign. Use testimonials, past product reviews, influencer shoutouts, anything to reinforce that, look, our brand is trusted and this product is gonna fly off the shelves. Send both through email and SMS, and don't overthink it, just send the receipts. Following up with step number 5, we want to lock in calendar reminders, ideally about 3 days away from the launch. And here's where most brands drop the ball. They just send out emails hoping people will show up. We do things a bit differently, and we use calendar invites in order to keep following up with people to make sure that they actually show up to the launch. Now, send out an email and SMS with a calendar link that lets your audience know to add that launch to their personal calendar. Whether it's Google, Apple, Outlook, whatever the calendar software is, they will be getting automatic notifications about this upcoming event. And you're not just sending reminders, you're booking mental real estate. You're laying more and more impressions about your brand and things that are coming up to add more hype. Like, I even used to do this when I was a sneakerhead back in high school. I would map out all the next drops, whether it's Jordans, Adidas, Yeezys, whatever, and I will set those events on my calendar for when and where at what Foot Locker that sneaker was going to be launching. So why not implement the same exact ideology for your product launches? Now we're in maximum hype mode. On to step 6, we're 24 hours away from our launch, and this is the final warm-up lap. We want to remind them how many units are available to increase scarcity, what time it goes live, and what time zones, and that they'll probably miss out on product if they're not the first ones to buy. So we're doing scarcity and urgency here. We also want to reiterate the calendar invite and include a direct link to the product page with a countdown timer on that product page. Psychologically, this is huge. A visible countdown changes how people act, and again, turns on that scarcity lizard brain to, I need to buy this. Now we're on to launch day. Step number 7, all gas, no brakes. At launch time, send the email and the SMS, blow it up, target that launch segment first, then roll it out to the rest of your list. About 6 hours in, if you're not sold out yet, hit them with a "we're almost sold out" email. And again, this adds more urgency and helps people know, like, look, they're selling out a product fast and I better jump on this before it sells out tomorrow. Now, the one thing that's important is if we're doing resends throughout the launch day, we want to exclude all those purchasers out of the way to make sure that, they've already bought, might as well not bombard them anymore. And the people that haven't bought, we want to keep sending out emails of FOMO and scarcity around everything that's going on. Now, after a few hours, once your launch list has gotten all their purchases out of the way, we can start to email the rest of the list. So for example, if on that launch list, you only had 5,000 people, on your entire list, let's say 25,000 people, we can now send out this product launch. Early bird signups got first dibs. We're nearly sold out, and this is your last chance to get the product before it's gone. And this does 2 things. Number 1, it creates urgency without sounding spammy. And number 2, it shows the rest of the customer base that they need to be signing up for those early access emails, because if they were on that early list, they wouldn't have to worry about rushing to get the product. They would already have the link already, and it just builds more authority and more trust within the brand overall. Now with step number 8, you can monetize even more after this launch. It's optional, but it works super, super well when done right. Once you sell out, don't go silent. Send a "sorry, we're sold out" email campaign with a secondary offer. Not only are you capturing the people that weren't able to buy, but you're also capturing any potential buyers that were on the fence, but maybe want to give your product a test run before they buy something brand new. And the email could be something simple like, hey, 10% off all of our evergreen products, free shipping, early access to the next drop. All of those things you can offer in that follow-up email. Like, hey, sorry you missed it. Sign up for alerts on the next drop. And now you just have a hype up list of your biggest fans and the people that are more likely to purchase every single launch. And the more and more you do these, the bigger that list gets, the more successful your launches get. Now, I did want to go through some email examples here that we've used in our past for launches. So we did one with Little Big Playroom where we kind of teased of like, hey, we have something big under wraps and we're thrilled to finally let you in on the scoop. We're doing a launch on December 4th. And this is a GIF that kind of revealed from these balls the launch date as well as the collab. But this is essentially like that teaser that I was talking about. Next up, we actually have the pre-order. So we did this in multiple stages. Not only did we have hype up emails on the back end, but we also had pre-order launches. So not only are we launching, but we're also launching with pre-order, so we get cash in quicker than just doing one big launch. And we can see here we can have start pre-orders now, and then we have the bundle, the ultimate gift box, etc. Moving on to the next one, the Very Hungry Caterpillar ball pit. And then we have, again, more branded info, more pre-orders, and then all the different available patterns that we had, as well as the bundle. Again, we just kept hammering this in of like, hey, look, we still have the most unique gift of the season. This is around Christmas time, so it made sense. And for a limited time, the iconic Hungry Caterpillars are available in a bundle. Again, just kept following up with them. And then the last email was a timer. So like, hey, our launch is gonna be over soon. You might as well get in on it. And this email did very, very well to make sure that they also got it before Christmas delivery. So overall, this entire strategy, when executed properly, transforms a decent launch into a revenue celebration. But here's the kicker: do not overuse it. This playbook is powerful because it's rare. Do this once a quarter at most and make it an event and make it matter. Now, if you run this kind of launch every single month, people will tune out. Scarcity only works when it's real. Now, before we move on, let's bust a few myths that might be holding your campaigns back. These are common misconceptions that could be costing you serious money. Myth number one is running more sales equals more revenue. If you're sending discounts 2 to 4 times a month just to hit cash flow goals, I get it. It feels like the fastest way to boost revenue. But here's the problem. You're training your list to never buy at full price. That discount code in the welcome pop-up, it's now expected. That 15% flash sale, not exciting anymore, especially when you do it multiple times a month. And that customer who almost bought but didn't buy, they're just sitting around and waiting for the next sales to happen. Here's what constant sales really do. They erode your margins. So if your product has a 40% margin and you're doing 10 to 15% discount codes every other week, you're now slashing down that margin to 30 to 25%. And after ad costs, you don't even have anything left. Running discounts also cheapens your brand positioning. People see it as it's always available and that they can always get it at a discount. And they definitely kill buying urgency because there's always a better deal coming, whether it's a week from now or 2 weeks from now. And if you've ever looked at your email performance and thought, why aren't more people buying? It's probably not the price. It's the belief. People don't buy what they don't trust. For example, if you're shopping for acne cream, but you don't believe that it's going to solve your acne problems, it doesn't matter how many discounts you get. You're still not going to buy it because there's no belief in the product. Now here's what we do instead. At Aspect, we focus on building belief and adding value before the pitch, educating them on why the product exists, what makes the product different, and how the customers will get value from the product. Showing customer results, reviews, success stories, UGC, all of that adds up to breaking down common objections. Additionally, you want to break down even more common objections like, how do you get results? How easy is your product to use? The justification for the pricing. It could be a specific manufacturing process or the way you formulate your product. Anything helps chip away at that value objection. And then you can introduce your offer. Because if your product clearly solves a problem, you don't need a discount to make the sale. Now moving on to myth number 2, more flows equals more revenue and better automation. We've seen Klaviyo accounts with 30, 40, and sometimes even 50 flows running all at once, and 90% of them do absolutely nothing. And here's what too many flows actually does to your account. It makes it harder to track your data. You don't know what's working and what isn't. There's so many flows live in the account that it's hard to actually attribute which one generated the conversion. It also wrecks the customer experience. With so many flows live, there's bound to be overlap in messaging, and some customers are likely getting double messaged, sometimes even with irrelevant messages. And lastly, it slows down the troubleshooting process. When something breaks, it's so hard to track a needle in the haystack when the haystack is 6 foot high. Now, what's the fix? You want to simplify. Instead of 5 abandoned cart flows, 4 welcome flows, and a dozen one-off triggers, build one clean, consolidated version of each core flow. Whether it's the welcome, abandoned checkout, post-purchase, win back, or cross-sell, use dynamic content blocks to personalize when needed, or even one-off splits for a custom message based on a profile property. You don't need to duplicate entire flows just because someone came from a different list. And at Aspect, we use segmentation to control entry into every single flow and use Klaviyo's built-in logic to vary content based on behavior, attributes, and it makes for cleaner data, better customer experience, and so much less headache. Now, myth number 3, A/B test everything all the time. It's a hot take, but hear me out. I love testing. We test everything at Aspect, but some brands treat A/B testing like a game of whack-a-mole. Random send times here, subject line test here, throwing ideas at the wall just to feel productive. And that's the problem, because A/B testing only works when it's strategic. Think back to high school chemistry. I'm sure your teacher went over these 3 specific rules before letting you run around the lab doing experiments. One variable at a time, so you know which variable actually pushed the needle forward. Clear hypothesis. Having the intention behind what you're testing and why you're testing it. And statistical significance. You need enough data to come to an actual conclusion based on the results that you got. If you have too little sample data, can you really make a decision? And if you're testing subject lines, send times, email content, all in the same campaign, how will you know what actually moved the needle? Instead, do this. Test one variable per send. Rotate test types every week. For example, week 1 is subject line. Week 2 is call to actions. Week 3 is timing. Look for repeatable wins and not one-off spikes. And most importantly, don't test if you don't have a clear reason to. And sometimes testing is great, but it's all about for the betterment of the account and how much revenue that account can bring. And sometimes there's different levers that you can pull, and A/B tests may not be the lever that brings in the most results. Now, if you want to learn more on how to set up proper A/B tests, I have a video for you right up here, so go ahead and check that out after. And to quickly recap, you don't want to discount all the time. It doesn't increase trust, it actually kills it. More flows don't mean more money. Clarity and intention behind those flows do. And lastly, A/B testing should be intentional, not just more busy work. Now, if any of those sounded familiar, don't stress. Even high growth brands that we work with have seen all of these mistakes and have made these mistakes. The good news, these are fixable problems and they usually unlock big wins very quickly. Now, campaigns are great, but flows are the revenue engine on autopilot. Here are the 15 flows that every brand needs running behind the scenes. Starting off with the welcome flow. You want to have a good first impression, and this is where the welcome flow comes into play. First, the person signs up for the newsletter through a pop-up in the first email. Welcome to the brand. Have a coupon ready within that email if you do have an offer, and essentially just break down a quick gist about your brand. The second email that goes out 3 days later talks about what makes your brand different, a little us versus them. Maybe do some value content within that email that a customer might might enjoy. A couple days later, we want to have some more niche relevant value content. So if your brand is about mountain biking, maybe have some biking trails included in there, something that gives value to the customer and builds trust along the way. After that, if they haven't purchased yet, we want to send them out a special discount code. It could literally be the same thing as the first welcome email. Essentially here, we just want to capture any of those stragglers that have learned more about the brand, maybe gotten more trust, look through your socials, and offer them a special offer. Afterwards, follow up with them 2 days later saying like, hey, your offer is about to expire. Take advantage of the offer. Basically, just follow up with them one last time, not before we give them more valuable information. So if they haven't bought by this point, we want to keep sending them more emails about trust building. Now, if they haven't opened any of these emails in the last 30 days or since they've entered this flow, I would go ahead and remove them from this flow after email number 6. We want to talk about the history of the brand, history of the founder, maybe a message from the founder to build more trust and credibility. People buy from people. So if they have a face to the brand, that can build more trust and lead them to purchase. 3 days later, we want to do some product recommendations, some review highlights, testimonial highlights. Obviously, this isn't the only email that's going to have testimonials. We'd want to sprinkle testimonials all across these initial first 3 emails, but this one is just more dedicated to reviews. 3 days later after that, we're introducing another offer here. Again, this is to those people that haven't purchased yet. By this point, everyone that's purchased from any of these emails should be exited out of this flow and should not receive any more promotional type emails. But if for those people that haven't purchased, we're going to be sending another special offer email. We're going to follow up again in 4 days. And lastly, we hit them up again 6 months later of, hey, we reactivated your coupon. And surprisingly enough, this last email does really, really well. So I'd recommend setting up a 6-month follow-up sequence. Now, moving on to some of the abandonment flows. And there are 4 abandonment flows. There's abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, abandoned browse, and abandoned site. If you're not familiar with what the difference is between those flows, when a person buys something, we have multiple flows set up along the way. The abandoned site flow checks up with people that have just visited the website but didn't look at anything else. Abandoned browse, they checked out a collections page or they checked out a product page but didn't add the cart. Abandoned cart is added to cart but didn't go to checkout. And abandoned checkout, where they looked at the website, looked at the product, added to cart, started checking out but then dropped off. So we're going to be following up with people throughout that entire journey, starting off with abandoned checkout being the most important one. Checkout started is the first trigger. You started checkout but they didn't buy. First email is just, let's get you back to checkout. You're almost there. You have a product left in your cart or you have a product left in checkout. Just finish the purchase. It's a pretty straightforward message. A day afterwards, we want to include some reviews, any social proof, product use cases, any UGC. So if someone's on the edge of buying, this is the best way to, take them over the edge and actually have them purchase. Last chance email. This one is just like a, hey, last chance, your cart's about to expire. Here's a discount code if you're still on the edge, 10% off or 20% off or whatever that offer is. And then a day after that, we want to offer them a, how can we help? A lot of people usually have questions or objections about buying the product, and this email is just there to reach out if they have any questions that you can contact their support. Moving on to abandoned cart, meaning they've added to cart, but they didn't check out. We want to make sure that we have the added to cart metrics set up in our Shopify store, WooCommerce store, BigCommerce, whatever you're using. About an hour afterwards, just get back to cart. Did you forget something? Since they've had intent on buying something, this is where having the forget something or back to cart is very important. Or after we send out that email and they don't go back to cart, don't let your cart expire. Just another reminder, getting them back into the cart. Here we usually also include testimonials and reviews in that second email to push them over the edge as well. And then lastly, a day later is your cart's price dropped. And this is a similar take on the last chance discount. We're kind of flipping the psychology. Instead of, hey, here's a discount code, it's more so like, hey, your cart price is dropped. And that usually gets people's attention, helps them convert into a customer. Moving on to abandoned browse. Again, you want to make sure that you have the viewed product metric installed within Klaviyo. If you want me to do a video on these metrics, let me know down in the comments below and I'll make sure to set that up. Now, about an hour after they viewed the product but didn't buy, we want to have a call to action to get them back to the item that they were browsing. Grab what you caught your eye. We don't want to insinuate they want to purchase something. More so, we want to just get them back to the product so that way they can finish looking over any reviews that they might have or adding that product to cart. And again, if they abandon cart, we're going to hit them with the abandoned cart emails. Next up, a day later, we want to send them out a still deciding email. Like, are you still on the fence? And this is where we can reuse some of the assets from the what makes us different email. This is especially powerful when you're using before and after graph or a graph that goes over all the different features that your product has over the competition. And then lastly, a day later is don't miss out incentive to buy. Similar to your cart price dropped is like, hey, we're having a special on this specific product only. Use this discount code to get at specific percentage off, or use this code to get specific dollar amount off. Abandoned site, which is one of the more general ones. Again, you need to have an active on site metric on here with a filter of they didn't purchase anything. And again, after an hour, they were active on site. It's like unsure how to start. And this is where we push any content that we have from the client. So push them to a blog, any product categories, or any categories within their blog that would make sense to answer any big questions. And this is also an email where you want to overcome any general objections that a customer might have. Then social proof and education and reviews. Again, that social proof and the reviews are what help drive customer conversion. So we want to kind of spoon feed the customer on the reviews and the social proof and educate them on why our product is superior. And then lastly, another incentive to buy. This is just like our last Hail Mary, because after these two emails, if they're not buying, we want to make sure that we're laying out all of our cards on the table and that they have incentive to buy the product. Now moving on to the secondary flows. Majority of the revenue that we generate comes from all of these abandonment flows and the welcome flow. But some of these lower flows, like the cross-sell and the back in stock flow, do generate a lot of revenue when done correctly. When it comes down to cross-sell, you want to decide on which type of cross-sell you want to do. And this is where the time delay is very important. Do you want to cross-sell them after they've purchased and received the product, or do you want to cross-sell them to a bundle immediately after the order has been placed? So this trigger of fulfilled order could be completely different to your specifics. For example, if you're selling a fidget spinner and you want them to buy 2 fidget spinners for half the price, you would want to set this metric to placed order and have this go out 5 minutes, if not almost immediately after. But if you're doing a cross-sell that's more long-term, 7 days and fulfilled order is your best bet. And that first email that goes out is a personalized dynamic product recommendation. So for example, if you're in the skincare space, like if someone buys acne cream, then they might need some moisturizer as well because their skin would dry out. And this is where a personalized dynamic product recommendation would come into play. About 5 days later is a specific product feature. So go over any specific product features that the customer might find useful after buying, that acne cream. Lastly, 5 days later, cover another feature of that specific product that we recommended. If you're selling paint kits, having a specific paint brush might help you with your strokes, or it might help you with the brush lines, or it might help you stay within the lines of that paint by number kit. So all of these are very important to send out afterwards, because you sold them on the first experience. Now it's time to sell them on the next 2, 3, 4 experiences that they will have with your brand. Now going into the back in stock flow, this one goes after they've subscribed to your back in stock email. This is crucial because if you just sell out a product and you're not capturing emails, do this as soon as possible. Set up a email capture on your product page, because otherwise you're going to be missing out on a ton of revenue. And now if you're out of stock, we want to give the customer some sort of consolation prize. Basically, you want to send out this email almost immediately of like, hey, sorry, we're out of this specific product, but we do have a wide selection of these other products, and here's a special discount code for the inconvenience that you can use on any of our products below. And this is going to help you generate way more revenue than you thought you were when you just had out of stock, because people still may want to buy something, and this just gives them an extra incentive to buy some. After you've restocked, you want to send them an email that says, hey, your items are back in stock. Go ahead and purchase them. Obviously, it's the product that they wanted, so they're going to purchase. After 3 days, don't miss out, incentive to buy. And the goal here is to use urgency and scarcity, because like, hey, we've sold out before, grab this before we sell out again. That adds more urgency and scarcity. Now onto the post-purchase flow. After the customer has placed the order, we want to send out an email initially just thanking them for buying, going over any information that they might need about the product, or any tutorials or any steps or any setup. Usually this is the place to do it, because after they place the order, you want to have your pre-buyer journey match the post-buyer journey. So if they, you run all these ads, you run all these emails to get the customer to buy, and then after they buy, it's all crickets, that's just not a good look for your brand. We also want to have the open line of communication. So like, hope you're happy with the product when it arrives. And if you're not happy, reach out. We've used the tactic of including the CEO's email in here because it's just a direct line to the business owner that can help fix all the problems that they might have and escalate the issue if needed. And lastly, you want to send out a message from the founder. Ideally, after they've received it, send out a message saying like, hey, thank you from the founder. You're supporting a small business. You're helping us a lot, and we hope to grow with you as we grow the business. That's the post-purchase flow. Moving on to replenishment. And this is typically for subscription-based email. So if you have a subscription-based business, listen up because it's going to be useful. So the trigger that we want to use here is delivered shipment after the product has been delivered to the customer and 7 days before the customer runs out. Depending on the product that they bought, you want to send out this email of avoid the hassle, subscribe and save, so that way it's automatically just going through the subscription and you're kind of upselling them onto the subscription without the hassle of constantly buying every 3 weeks or every 3 months or 2 months or half a year, whatever it is. And then a week later, when we think they're going to be running out, we just want to send them a follow-up message of like, hey, are you running low on your product? Here is the easiest way to replenish on that product. And one thing I would recommend doing here, and you can do this within Shopify, you can create a custom link with the variant where once they click on that link, they immediately go to checkout. And sometimes they even have all of their details fully filled in. So I'd recommend utilizing this as a tactic when setting this up. Next up is a predicted next purchase. So this is an automatic Klaviyo list that gets set up where they think the next expected order date is going to come through. And this is simply just a quick follow-up message where continue your journey, maybe give them an incentive, maybe a percent off, or maybe a free gift or a bundle or a combo, anything that you can do on the offer side. I'd recommend setting that up here as like a simple follow-up email. Next, we're getting into some engagement-based flows like the win back and the sunset. The win back is usually triggered after they've placed an order, but they haven't bought anything again in 90 days. So here you want to cover not only an incentive to buy again, but also any updates that you have about the company or anything that you think is going to serve the customer better. And you can double down on that 7 days later with here's what you've missed. Here's what's new happening. We've had new product launches. We're running a holiday collection, or we're running a summer collection, that sort of thing. You kind of just want to update them on what's going on with the business there. On the sunset side, this is more so zero engagement has been happening in the last 180 days. So about half a year goes by and the customer still hasn't been opening any emails or hasn't ordered anything. We want to send them a little bit of a we miss you text or we miss you email. Like, hey, we miss you. We want you to come back. Is there anything we could do? Or is there anything we could do to improve our experience? 7 days later, another one, come see what's new, and have an incentive of maybe a win back discount code of like 10% off or 20% off. You can get a little bit aggressive here because for the most part, this sunset flow is just a Hail Mary. If they haven't bought before, maybe they'll buy again type. And then lastly, would you like us to remove you from our list? If they replied yes, obviously remove them from the list. If they haven't replied, you can still remove them off the list. And if they replied no, keep them on the list. Pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. Now moving on to the last 3 flows here. The review request is pretty straightforward. Once they're eligible for review, and this is typically 30 days after they purchase, you want to send out a review request with incentive. Depending on what the incentive is, that's up to your brand. We've done Amazon gift cards, we've done store credit, we've done discount codes, free product, anything goes here. And 7 days later, just remind them to review again. And then once they've replied or once they've left the review, submitted review is the trigger. And whenever they submitted a review, we want to obviously give them the incentive. So thanks for reviewing. Here's your coupon code, or here's your gift card or store credit, whatever it is. And then lastly, this one's a hit or miss for some brands, but for brands that have very loyal customers, a first purchase anniversary. This is just a separate flow that tracks everyone's first purchase and sends an email out a year later that's like, celebrate 1 year with us. And depending on their engagement cycle, we give them an incentive to buy. And this could be like, hey, use the code birthday to get an extra 5% off or get free shipping with any order. And this is just going to help drive more conversion. Granted, it's a long-term play. It's a year out, but it still performs very well. And depending on how receptive the customers are and how engaging your community is, it's going to crush it for you. Now, here are the most common mistakes I see brands make when they're turning on automations, and I'll show you exactly how to fix them. Starting off with a foundation, let's get one thing straight. Your flows are the bloodline of your business. Your campaigns are important, but what's even better is flows are what generate revenue while you sleep. They're there to convert window shoppers into customers and existing customers into repeat buyers, but only if they're set up right. Let's start from the top of the funnel, the welcome flow. Now this flow alone should be making up 25% of your total flow revenue. And here's what I see that brands mess up every single time. Number one, you want to make sure that your double opt-in is selected off and you have single opt-in enabled. This kills conversions before they even start because you'd have to double verify your email with the person. So if you have single opt-in, once a person subscribes, you can immediately send them a message. And this is how you turn off double opt-in. You go to lists and settings, you go to the immediate list that you have, and you go to consent, and you make sure that single opt-in is selected. Moving down the funnel, we want to make sure that our pop-ups are converting at least at 5%. You want to have multiple pieces of information being collected on that pop-up one step at a time. So one mistake that we see is they collect the email, the phone, any information about the buyer all under one pop-up. We want to separate that out into multiple steps and increase our conversion, as well as A/B test different offers. If you're not getting enough throughput on the pop-up side, you're not going to be seeing that throughput on the email side. So we want to subscribe as many people as possible to the email list. Now, the welcome flow is the first impression that someone gets about your business when they subscribe to your email list. It's not a coupon delivery system. Now, it's important to have a few offers here and there, but for the most part, we want to build trust within the welcome flow. So obviously they sign up to the newsletter, we provide that initial offer and that welcome coupon, but then we build trust throughout the email flow. We go over what makes us different, any niche relevant content, any offers that we might have, the history of the brand, the founder, as well as anything that is different from them and their competitors. It could be the way that they source products. It could be the way that they manufacture. It could be the customer service. All of these differentiators are what makes your brand unique, and you want to highlight all of these in your welcome flow. And then eventually you can do another offer or another round of offers if they've bought in, but they haven't bought yet. So if they trust the brand, but they have not bought yet. Next is the abandonment flows, and this is where most brands completely screw it up. Here's how they should be prioritized. The abandoned checkout is the highest intent possible. The person is literally almost at the finish line. They just need to put in their information and check out. Abandoned cart is medium to high interest. So someone that has visited the website, knows what product they want, they've added to that product, but they have not finished the checkout process. Abandoned browse is medium intent, so they're browsing to make sure that they get the right product or making sure that the product is a right fit for them, so that's medium intent. And then abandoned site is the lowest intent. That's not to say that it shouldn't be used as a channel to send out emails and follow up with people. That's where people just visited the website, maybe visited a blog, just learning more information about your business. And at each stage, it needs its own logic and messaging. So you can't use messaging from abandoned checkout on abandoned site because that seems a little too creepy. It's like, how do you know what I'm browsing? Whereas you can't use the same logic from abandoned site on abandoned checkout because it's not salesy enough. You're not helping them overcome any objections. You're just showing them around the website. Here's the kicker. You don't want to cross-contaminate your flows. If someone hits checkout, they should only be getting that abandoned checkout email, not cart, not browse, or site. So you want to set up your flow filters correctly to control this hierarchy. Otherwise, you're going to be confusing your customer and killing your conversions. So here are some flow filters that we use internally to make sure that everyone stays in their own lane. So people that abandon site, don't go to abandoned checkout. Number one, we want to make sure that checkout placed order 0 times since starting this flow because we don't want someone to get a message if they haven't or if they've already bought. Number one, we make sure that no bounced emails or no emails marked as spam are being also sent out. We also make sure that they've not been in this flow for at least 14 days. If someone abandons a checkout 4 different times, they're gonna get this email. So we wanna exclude that. And they've received an email 0 times with the flow equaling the abandoned cart flow. And the checkout started triple pixel is 0 times. So we want to exclude anyone that has had checkout started as a pixel event fire. And when you actually go through the strategy, we want to convert the person to go back to checkout with reviews, social proof, objection handling. On the abandoned cart side, we want to make sure that we want to get them back to that cart and start finishing their checkout process and sort of saying like, don't let your cart expire or your cart price has dropped. On the abandoned browse side, we just want to help them decide. So if they're still deciding, we bring up an email there. We take them back to the actual item that they were looking at. So it's like, hey, grab what caught your eye. And then don't miss out. Again, incentive is the last email because it's the last ditch effort that we have to convert that customer. We don't want to front load the discounts because then everyone will see the brand as a discount brand and not buy from the business. And then lastly, abandoned site. Unsure where to start, we want to just push them to blogs, any product categories, or any valuable information that would help them make a buying decision. We also educate them on anything regarding the business, any social proof, any reviews. And then again, we provide an incentive to buy at the end if they're still on that stage of not buying. On to win back and sunset. Flows are not necessarily just for conversions. While that is the core part of making sure that your flows are running correctly, some flows are there to help manage your actual list and are kind of like a cleanup crew for the email list. And this is where winbacks and sunset flows come in. So if someone hasn't purchased in the last 90 days, this is where winback comes through. We want to provide a small incentive, a product update, a reminder of what they loved during that winback. So we have an incentive email here and an incentive reminder on what they've missed. So maybe there's new company updates or new product launches or new events that are going on. And if they still haven't responded to any of those emails from 90 to 180 days, then we take them through the sunset flow. And there we kind of just hit them with like, hey, we miss you. Has anything changed? Or here's what's new in the business. As well as, look, we're going to be removing you from the list because you're not engaging. And if this is wrong, please reply. Typically, 85 to 90% of people that are already in sunset and have gotten that last email, they're not going to convert. So the 15 to 10% are still going to engage with us and they're still going to get regular emails. But we now know that we want to exclude those 85 to 90%, clean them up from the Klaviyo account, lower the Klaviyo bill, and move on to the actual 10 to 15 that are still interested. And a cleaner list leads to better deliverability, lower Klaviyo bills, and more engaged buyers. On to post-purchase and cross-sell. Now, let's talk about what happens after they buy. They have all of this excitement, all of this marketing going towards them. You'd be shocked at how many brands just stop communicating with their customers. Post-purchase is your chance to say thank you, set any expectations, reinforce trust, tell your founder story, and then open the door to repeat purchases. So this is where we'd want to bridge the gap between pre-purchase and post-purchase and actually have them almost be coddled in a way where they know that they're being taken care of. And if any trouble or any issues do come up with their order, that your staff is on standby to help them with any issues that they might have. And at the same time, build trust and reinforce expectations to what it's like to work with your brand or to shop with your brand. And then from there, you can move them on to the cross-sell. And this is where there's a lot of opportunities to have where you can have personalized dynamic product recommendations. So for example, if you're selling shoes, maybe cross-sell shoelaces. If you're selling shirts, cross-sell jackets. And depending on what your margins are on the product or what the customer evolution is in the product lifecycle journey, maybe they buy a pen, then they buy a notepad, then they buy a laptop accessory, whatever that common ascension ladder looks like, have cross-sell be the main bridge between their first purchase to their third purchase. And here in the cross-sell flow, we can actually go through personalized dynamic recommendations, product features, and more product features as well. It all comes down to fixing that logic, cleaning up your list, and running it like a system. Now, good emails aren't just strategic, they need to look good too. Let's walk through current email design trends that are actually converting right now. All right, trend number 1, and this one is a non-negotiable. It's mobile first design. Now, over 80% of e-commerce email opens are happening on mobile now. I repeat, 80%. And yet, we still see brands using multi-column layouts, tiny fonts, and buttons. You need a Nintendo DS stylus just to click on them. Now, here's what you need to do in order to succeed with mobile first. Use single column layouts, clean, focused, and easy to scroll with your thumb. Bump up that font size, 16 pixels minimum. Anything smaller is just unreadable on the go. Now with call to action buttons, they should be big enough to tap comfortably. Think 48 by 48 pixels or larger. And if you're designing in Figma, make sure you're framing everything in a 400 to 450 pixel width mobile canvas. Now that's just a baseline on all things you need to optimize for mobile. Now let's talk about the silent design killer, which is dark mode. Almost half of mobile devices are using it by default, which means if your emails look amazing in light mode, but break in dark mode, you're losing trust before people even read your headline. Now here's how we want to fix this. Use transparent PNGs, not JPEGs. That'll stop your logos from looking like they're boxed in, as well as other sections that are just sticking out from the backgrounds. Now we want to avoid pure white or pure black colors. Go on off-whites or dark grays. And for the love of retention, test your emails in dark mode before you hit send. Use the Chrome extension Dark Reader. It will help you tremendously. And we've seen clients at Aspect increase click-through rates by as much as 12% just by fixing dark mode rendering. And it's low-hanging fruit waiting to be picked. Trend number 3, shorter emails are winning. Now why? Is because no one wants to read a novel in their inbox, especially not while they're trying to walk their dog or they're half watching Netflix. The attention span is constantly shrinking, and your email needs to deliver the point in 15 seconds or less. Now here's what you need to do. Lead with your strongest value proposition or offer. Don't bury it in paragraph number 4. Keep it to one call to action per email, unless you're doing a roundup of multiple topics. Use icons, bolding, bullet lists, spacing, and just general formatting guidelines you learned in high school. Break up that text, make it skimmable, and making it easy to read. You're not dumbing it down, you're just tightening the message and making it punchier. Next up, let's talk about a comeback I'm really here for. Well, it's not really a comeback because it's just been constantly winning. It's plain text emails. Now, why are they working? Well, because they feel personal, real, and human, especially when the inbox is already full of overly polished, image-heavy emails. Now at Aspect, we use plain text in our welcome emails from the founder, our post-purchase check-ins, and win-back campaigns that feel like a "hey, we miss you," instead of a "come back now with a 20% off" sales message. Now here are some tips that you can use to utilize plain text emails to the best of their ability. Use first names, make it very personal, and write like you're talking to your grandma. Silly, but it makes you actually think out loud and actually write like how you're actually talking. And don't fake it. If it's from the founder, it better sound like it. Now let's switch gears up a little bit. With most ESPs, Klaviyo, Sunlane, Omnisend are leaning hard into AI tools that help predict purchase intent, identify VIP segments, and even build dynamic content blocks based on behavior. Now some tactical examples that you can use is segmenting out browsed but didn't buy subscribers and hit them with product-specific reminders. Create a flow for customers who only bought once and never came back. And even using predictive analytics to trigger win-back emails before churn even happens. It's only going to get crazier and crazier as time goes on and as AI evolves, and now is just the best time to evolve. And it isn't about being creepy, it's about constantly staying relevant and in your people's inbox. Now let's round this out with 2 visual trends that we're seeing convert really well across all of our clients. Number 1, and I've been preaching this, is having better above the fold sections. Adding a little bit more clarity to your above the fold section can increase your click-through rate by over 100%. Now, what do you actually need to include in your above the fold section? Well, firstly, your call to action, headline, and offer should all be visible without scrolling. And it's especially important on mobile because if they have to swipe to see your offer, you've already lost half your audience because those people are just not going to scroll or even continue. And number 2 is micro animations, having subtle GIFs, whether it's in product demos, testimonials, announcements, banners, countdown timers, and even hover style button pulses. All of these add a visual flair to your emails that make them stand out from the other emails that they get. Now, I'm not saying you need to go full Vegas Strip with all the animations and lights, but a little movement in the right place can lift engagement significantly, increase those click-through rates, and increase those post-purchase rates. So to recap, if you want to stay ahead of the curve in 2025 and definitely be prepared for 2026, make sure you design mobile first, optimize for dark mode, keep your emails short and skimmable, no essays and no big paragraphs, mix in some plain text emails into your flows and campaigns, get serious with AI-driven segments and getting more personalized with using AI as a personalization tool in your emails, and don't be afraid to evolve some of the visuals behind the scenes for your emails. Now, trends are great, but how do we actually build a clean, high-converting email from scratch? Here's a step-by-step guide on how our design process works. I created a basic layout of what our Figma design is going to look like. We have the header, we have the footer, then we have a headline, an image, and call to action. We have some shoes and CTA. Don't worry, we're going to be doing a shoe-based email here, and then some testimonials and call to action. So not only do we have an image and a headline that calls people out, we also have some descriptions and some products here, and then we also have some social proof with testimonials. So I'll be showing you exactly how to design each step by step. So first thing we need to do is create a header. So what you need to do is just click that rectangle tool, and we're going to need to make a rectangle. You need to make this rectangle about 600 pixels wide, and I guess the standard size is anywhere between 150 to 200 pixels. But let's just go ahead and stick with 150. Since this is Nike, I'm just going to go ahead and make it simple black and white. So let's go ahead and make that white. We already have a Nike logo over here, so let's go ahead and drag that over here. We're gonna make this a little bit smaller. You can click shift to decrease the size. So we're gonna go ahead and place it over here. Now it's behind the image because in the layers section on the left, it is all the way at the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and drag it to the top, and we're gonna adjust the size a little bit here. So there we go. You have the Nike logo. If you want an easy way to go ahead and center it, you click both the objects, the rectangle and the logo. And we're gonna click on this button, and we're gonna click on this button, and that just centers it in the middle and in the middle from the horizontal side and on the vertical side. So we have the header set up and ready to go. Next up is the headline and image. So what I like to do is actually put the headline within the image. So we're gonna go ahead and drag the image over here and go ahead and line it up. And the cool thing is with Figma, when you drag things around, there's little lines that move around, and these lines kind of line everything up within the design. So once it freezes over here, we know we're at the edge, and we're gonna go ahead and expand this image out to the edge. We're gonna just play around with the sizing a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and throw in some text. And text, there's a text tool right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna drag the text box over here, and then we're gonna just, just do it, right? Common Nike slogan. It looks like crap because of the font and the branding not matching up, but what you can do is you can download fonts online, and what we're gonna do is I already have the Nike font downloaded. We're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna increase the size of it. There's a size chart right here. We're gonna make it like that, and then what we're gonna do is make sure that the sizing is correct. We can make it the outline here, and we're gonna make sure that it is centered. Let's go ahead, and there's actually a center drag here, right here. And one thing you can do is actually add shadows in the background of your email. So how does that work? You're gonna go ahead and click Effects, click that plus button, and there's gonna be a drop shadow that pops up. And you click on this radial effect settings, it pops up, and we're gonna go ahead and just make it black. We're gonna increase the size all the way to 100, and we're gonna increase the blur a little bit. And we can do a little bit of offset, and you can see how it just pops out of that image, and it makes it look like it's a part of the image. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and make another button. And a button is very easy to create. I'm gonna make another rectangle here, and trust me, I'm just gonna make another rectangle. And the rectangle could be either rounded, and you can do this by these rounded corners. So we can just make it a pill and make it fully round, or we can make it slightly round. We're gonna make the button white. What you can do with a button as well as you can add a stroke to it. And what a stroke does is it creates a border around the button. So when you zoom in, you can see there's a little border around the button to make it pop out a little bit. So we're gonna increase the stroke to 2 pixels. We're gonna go ahead and center it. And then we're gonna add in a text. So the text size is from our previous settings. We're gonna drop it down to 20 and test our button CTA. So you don't see it because it's in white. So we're gonna go ahead and make it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that centering thing. I'm gonna make sure it is centered. And we can probably increase the size of the text a little bit to maybe 24 and make sure it's in the middle. And there we go, we have our button call to action. Next up is shoes and call to action. So we're gonna go ahead and create another rectangle. We're gonna go ahead and place it like that, center it. We're gonna make this white. And what you can do is you can click Option or Control and drag this down, and it will duplicate your original selection. So for example, if I click Option on this image, and it'll just make another image. So it's just an easy way to duplicate things. I'm just gonna do lorem ipsum for the header. We're gonna drop that down to, just do 48. Just keep it simple and make it black. And then remove that drop shadow. So lorem ipsum, Next, let's go ahead and make these shoes a part of that collection. So we're gonna go ahead and drag these over here. Let's go ahead and make them smaller. Now what we can do here is just add more rectangles to the section, and I'll show you how that's gonna look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Maybe make the width 500, so that way everything's even. Height 200. We're gonna add some corner radius to it. Let's just do 20 to be safe. And then what we're gonna do is create another rectangle within the rectangle. And this one is going to be white. Do another height of, let's do 200. Oh wait, that's about the same. Make the height like 175. So that way it has a little bit of a border around here. Make the corner radius about the same, 20. And we have that set up here. Now what we can do is just place all of those shoes on top of the layer. So that way, and then we can make the shoe size about the same. So this is locked, we'll make it 150. So there we go, we have one. So then what we can do is just put text down here. So you can honestly just press the T letter on your keyboard and create a text box. And we'll lower that down to, let's say 25. And then here, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy some lorem ipsum text for the product description or whatever you wanna put down there. It's a little bit too long. And we're gonna make this black, so that way it's easily readable. One thing what we can also do is center it down on the page and make sure that it fits the actual border. And then we're gonna select those two things and make sure it's in the middle. And there we go, we have a product description. What we can also do to add a little bit more flair is a headline. We're gonna put that up here. And with a headline, we're obviously gonna need a bigger section there. So we're gonna select this, all of this, and then click Option, Duplicate. There we go. Extend this section out. And you can see that 20 that pops up in between here. It shows you the spacing in between to make sure that it's even. Now, one thing you could do, and this is more advanced, is doing auto layouts. And simply what that does is you put everything into one section and you can space everything out a lot easier that way, but it's just way more complicated and it's just for another video. So the height of this image was 150 by 150. Let's go ahead and increase this to 150. Take this out and then put this into here. And you can line it up by selecting those two again. And there we go, it's centered. I didn't even do it for this one. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's do the last shoe here. Let's make it 150. Let's put that over here. Move that. And let's go ahead and center this. So there you go. You have a simplified product section here. And then what we can do is move on to the testimonials. The testimonial is going to be very easy to do. And one thing you could do here to break off, this white section is simply just make another section, but make it not white. So let's go ahead and move that. I accidentally duplicated too many things. So what we can do is just do maybe a little slight off white, maybe a slight off red. And with the testimonial section, we can honestly just take these headline pills and put them down here and then switch things up a little bit. So what we're gonna do is extend this section out, right? The headline is just gonna be, from who the person actually wrote. So, Jack Smith. We're gonna line this up with this text box here. And I have some stars that we can throw in here. Again, this is a very rudimentary version of how to create these emails. There's a lot more to it than goes into it, but what we can do is just plop those stars into there. There we go. And what we can do is just, again, take this, and then duplicate it one more time. Just to add some finishing touches is add a headline. So we'll go ahead and expand this box a little bit. Read our reviews. Cool. Everything is set up. Now, one thing that I did miss out on is a call to action on both sides. So let's go ahead and add that in. And then we'll just go ahead and center it. Drag this down. And there you go. That is pretty much it. One thing we do need to add in is a footer. So let's go ahead and do that. And the footer is very easy to do. All you need to do is just put in your social icons. And we can do this in Klaviyo. A lot of it can be simplified in Klaviyo. You don't have to do it here. What we can do is just put in some lorem ipsum text, like pretty simple standard language. We'll just go ahead and center it and make the font a little bit smaller. So then what we can do is just place some social icons down here, and boom, there you go. You have your footer. So that's pretty much it. That is how you quickly create an email template. There's, again, more to it than that, like auto layouts and coloring, etc. But this is just like the basics of what you need. And there you have it. That is how we set up our emails in a very simplified way. Obviously, there's a lot more complex steps to it in the service side. Now, once you've designed your emails, let's get them into Klaviyo. This video shows you how to export and prep your designs the right way. In today's example, I'll be using Figma, but again, this applies to Canva, Photoshop, or any other design tool that you're currently using. So we have our design already created here. This is for one of my clients, Kingsfield Fitness. And the first thing we need to do before we even set it up in Klaviyo and export it is we need to outline which sections are going to be images and which sections are going to be text. So for best practices, we need to have a balance of text and images in our emails. If you have too much text, your email is going to be off brand and it's not going to look so good. But if you have way too many images and it's way too branded, your emails are going to get marked as spam and not even deliver. So I already had this set up. So you can see the sections in green are going to be the image sections. The sections in orange are going to be not image, and they're going to be text, and so on and so forth. So I went ahead and outlined this just to make it easier on my end, so that way we can go ahead and export these out. We have the sections highlighted. And one more thing before we start exporting these images is it's important to outline the dark mode compatibility of this email. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, but over 50% of devices have dark mode enabled. If you're sending out an email through Gmail, Apple Mail, Yahoo, and Outlook, and you don't have dark mode optimized, well, your emails are going to look like garbage. So we're going to set that background to a dark finish here. We're going to do this for the rest of the emails, and let's go ahead and see how this email is going to look in dark mode and see if there's any issues. Assume that all of the text is going to be white because it's going to automatically flip to white, but this image is going to look good. This button is going to look good. These little sections here with all the different products are going to look good. All of these text sections that are supposed to be text sections, like we highlighted here, are going to look good because the text is going to be automatically white. And so we are good to go, and let's go ahead and start exporting. So first things first, let's go ahead and start off with this header here. We're going to go ahead and click on export. One thing to keep in mind is I try to keep my exports at 2x because that will maximize the resolution of the export, and it's going to make your images look very, very crispy. So we want to keep up that crispiness like we see in Figma and export them at a 2x. We're going to export it as a PNG, export the header, and boom, we're done. Next up is these next body sections, and I'm going to go ahead and spare you all the details and just go ahead and speed run through this.
A few moments later.
And there we have it. We have all of our sections exported here. Now let's go ahead and open them up. So we have a divider, we have our guarantees, we have our header, we have our sections of text and sections of products. We have our header image with the text. You're probably wondering, why did I export them with all this text here? And the main reason is, again, for that dark mode compatibility, because if I exported this with the white background on a dark mode image, you know, this will come up as black and then this will come up as white, and it's just not going to look good. Once you have all of your images exported, we need to go ahead and compress them. TinyFi or TinyPNG or TinyJPEG are my favorite tools to use. So we're gonna go and drag all of our images in here and compress them. And the main reason why we're compressing these is because the heavier your images are, the longer they're gonna take to load within your email. If an email doesn't load in time when a person opens it, a person's more likely to back out and bounce from that email and not even see it to begin with. So we wanna reduce that as much as possible. Got all of our images, and let's head over to Klaviyo. Here we are in Klaviyo. It's a dummy account. So let's go ahead over to templates, and let's go ahead and create a blank email. Now, when it comes to building emails from scratch, I like to start with the header, the footer, and then the body, mainly because the header and footer are going to stay consistent for the most part with your emails, and the body is what's going to require the most change. So first things first, replace this with an image. The reason we do this is because in dark mode, if you were to have a PNG in here, that PNG is going to be inverted. And we don't want to ruin that brand look that we have because the black bar is consistent with the websites. Got the header done, onto the footer. So I like to have the Figma file in a separate browser here so that way I can set up the footer a lot easier. First, we want to go ahead and set up the footer section. We're going to go with a split column section. We want to make sure that there's uneven spacing, mainly because in the design, there's uneven spacing between the social icons and the hyperlinks at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and split those sections off so that way we can have our about, FAQ, and content links separate from our social icons. Okay, great. We have the footer and the header set up. Now it's time to actually move on to the body. Now, if you remember, we had images and text completely separated. But let's go ahead and lay out those sections. So we're going to need an image first, then text, then image, then text, then image, then text, then image. I know I was repeating myself there, but that's how we're going to set it up. So let's go ahead and do that. When you're initially setting these up, don't worry about how it's going to look right now. We're going to fix all of those issues later down the road. And one of the things that I'm going to do first, I'm going to put in the main product image, but I'm going to crop it multiple times because all of those 4 different sections have separate links attached. And I know I exported it as one big image. It was just easier that way to export it as one big image. But when we're setting it up, we need to have those separate sections. So after we've split up those image sections, we're going to work on the guarantees and the buttons. At the end of it, we're going to work on the actual text itself and stylize that text to make sure that it lines up with the formatting of the email. So the font as well as the coloring and the sizing of it all. Now let's go ahead and paste in that text and format that text as we go through it. We want to make sure that we're using the same exact font that the client is using, which is going to be Poppins. Now, as we go through and set this up, we want to make sure that we're also using the right color code. So we're going to take that hex code from our Figma file. And lastly, we want to center all that text and make sure that the spacing looks real good. And we're going to adjust some of the padding. And one thing we can do to speed up the process is to duplicate the text and then paste in our text from before into our new paragraph. So that way we don't have to restylize it. Now, when it comes to the look side, everything looks pretty much on par with the initial email that we actually had designed. We're pretty much there. All that's left is to add in that alt text to these images and add in the URLs from those specific product pages. Now, when it comes to alt text, you just want to describe what's in the image or some of the text that's in the image. So that way, if the image doesn't load, the person on the other side sees what the image is about. And when it comes to URLs, just make sure that you open them in a separate tab. So that way people don't click away from your email if there's something else interesting on your email. Now, I'm going to go ahead and speed run through doing the rest of these so that way you don't have to sit through and watch me get all of the links and all the alt text done.
2 hours later.
We are done. We have all of our URLs set up, all of our alt text set up, and all of our images set up. Now, one thing that I didn't mention, and this is a pro tip for you guys, a section that you're going to be reusing and possibly switching up and changing, I would recommend saving that section. Like, for example, this footer section, you can save it as a universal piece of content and you can just name it whatever. I'm just naming it AKT footer. And now that we have that section in here, what we can do is add in another universal section here, and it automatically populates with that section. So it's going to speed up your design time significantly faster. And the cool thing about them is once you change one thing, it spreads across all of your other emails. So if you're going to change up this about section or this about text to something else, the rest of the emails that you have set up, like let's say in your automations that have the same exact footer, their section is going to change as well. So you save so much more time updating one section instead of updating 28 other emails in your flows. Now, if you're following along with me and setting up your own email and you got it done, congratulations. Great job. It's a beautiful looking email, even though I can't see it. But now all that's left is to go ahead and send yourself a test to make sure that everything looks good, and check it on your phone, check it on your computer, maybe check it on a couple different browsers. Make sure everything looks good. If everything looks good, that's fantastic. That means your email is good to set up for a campaign or for an automation flow. Now, BFCM is email's Super Bowl. This strategy and calendar walkthrough will help you get ahead and execute a winning plan from start to finish. Now, every year, Black Friday, Cyber Monday evolves, and this year is no different. Some of the offers from last year will likely not work this year. And as a heads up, you can download this exact plan of action down below as well. Just click the link in the description. So, what do we need to start? First, we need to cover deliverability. Think of deliverability as the house your entire retention system is built on. If the foundation is bad, the whole house crumbles. And we want to start with warming up our list and improving deliverability leaks as soon as possible and ramping up sends. Going from 1 week per send to 1 day per send can significantly hurt your performance. So start by increasing your sending cadence to multiple times per week before going full throttle on Black Friday, Cyber Monday sends. Now this will signal to inbox providers that you're gradually ramping up and not blasting spam. And as a pro tip, have your dedicated sending subdomain set up. Make sure that all of your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records are aligned. Verify everything in Google Postmasters, so track your spam rate, IP, etc. And if you need more help on this, I actually made multiple videos on deliverability up top up there. Now the next thing you need to consider is pop-ups and lead capture. This is going to be the busiest time of the year, and this is where you're going to see an absurd amount of traffic coming to your website. You need to take advantage of it and grow your list with offers and pop-ups. A common misconception is that people turn off their pop-ups in order to reduce the friction from the buyer experience. But in this case, you want to keep your pop-up on and get as many people subscribed as possible. So that way, when 2026 comes around, you're going to have a bigger list to market to and a lot more customers that you can depend on. Now you can use different levels of scarcity and urgency to drive people to subscribe. For example, in late September, early October, you can do BFCM early access, get first dibs on bestsellers. In October, you can do VIP early access open soon, join the list for guaranteed stock. And in November, you can update to reflect current offers. So if your early access is going on early November, make sure to switch to your BFCM offer in late November. Now you can see some of the pop-ups that we've already created here in our previous years, and they're really simple. You don't need to have anything be overly dramatic and overly designed. It could literally be as simple as unlock early access to Black Friday savings. Enter your email, and then the next step is the SMS collection. Same thing here with unlock Black Friday access. Sign up today and get exclusive access to our biggest deal of the year. And then again, Black Friday deals are here. Our biggest discounts are happening over on email. Sign up for our newsletter to get the most information about it. So they don't have to be that complicated in order to have a high success rate. Having simple ones actually generates a lot more revenue and a lot more signups. Now, if you want to have the highest converting pop-up possible, I made a video on how to do that up here somewhere. So just go ahead and check that out after the video. Now, our main goal this year is not to maximize revenue, but to maximize net profit for our clients. This ties in with the offers that we're running. Doing a 50% off is just a race to the bottom. So we would need to get creative. And the way that we want to break down our offers is into 3 separate pieces. We have early access and VIP access, positioned as an exclusive offer for people that want to get the best deal and not have to wait until Black Friday to snag something. And it's an easy way to get extra revenue early on in the sales cycle. Instead of waiting all the way till the end of November, which is what Black Friday this year is going to be at, you can send out the VIP access earlier in the 1st, 2nd, or even 3rd week of November. Now you can have your core Black Friday offer, which is, it's the big day. People already know, so it's mainly site-wide markdowns. And then you can finish it off with Cyber Monday offers. Weaker offers compared to the last 2, but they still help convert anyone left over from that initial Black Friday weekend. Now, choosing an offer to run, you can have a BOGO, a buy 2, get 1, a product bundle discount, account credit added, a standard % off, free shipping, AOV tiered discount, so like buy more, save more, buy $200, get X% off, a free gift with purchase, a free gift with AOV threshold being hit. And all that to say is that there's so many different offers that you can run. You can definitely get creative with it. Now let's jump in and go through the actual sending calendar day by day, week by week, and show you exactly what we're going to be running for our clients. So here we are in October, and the thing is, Black Friday actually starts in September because that's when we start to redo a lot of deliverability work for any new incoming clients, as well as any existing clients that may need to do extra segmentation work. So we're going to be doing the warm-up in September, and then in October on the 25th is when we start to end the deliverability warm-up. And then the week of the 27th is when we're going to launch our VIP pop-ups live on our website or anything that is closer to the VIP sale. And we're also going to promote that VIP sale on the social channels of the client. And then we're going to have VIP sign up live, the email go out, and we're trying to get as many people to sign up to this VIP list as possible. One thing to note is that the legend here is the red one is just notes, orange is pop-up, teal is outside of retention, green is email, yellow is SMS. So not only that, on Thursday the 30th, we're also going to send out a VIP sign up is going live SMS. We're going to have a normal campaign going out on the 31st to make sure that we're keeping up with a high cadence. So not only are we sending all of these sale-based or hype-up emails, we're also going to be sending out normal campaigns in between as we're gradually ramping up our sends to the last week of November, which is, where we're going to be sending out 3 emails a day. So as we're going through, November hits, and on the 3rd, we're going to send out a text-based follow-up of like, hey, our VIP sale is almost here. Sign up before you lose access. Same thing with a text following up the following day. On Thursday, the 6th, we're going to send out another normal campaign, just keeping up with that cadence. The following week, on the 11th, we're going to send out another VIP sign-up follow-up, following SMS the following day, and then another campaign that following Friday. Now, obviously, this is not super set in stone. Every single client is going to have different needs, different calendars, different offers. So this is just a general guideline on what you should do or how you should line up your dates. If it's not exactly a true fit, then you can go ahead and obviously adjust it to make sure that you're utilizing it correctly. Now, on the 17th is when we would usually launch a VIP sale. It would be either the 10th or the 17th. But on the 17th, we would do another last chance sign up email that's text based only. That's why we have that little T here, with SMS sent in parallel, following up on the signups. And then on the 19th is when we actually launch. And it has 2x on there because we are launching 2 emails. We're launching one earlier in the day and then one in the afternoon/evening as a resend for anyone that hasn't opened up the earlier emails. Same thing with SMS. We're going to send out morning, one in the afternoon to make sure we get as many people as possible. This VIP sale only goes on for 48 hours. We try to keep it short and simple, so if anyone needs to get in, they're going to do it at this time. Otherwise, they're going to have to wait till normal Black Friday. So we're going to send out a VIP last chance, like, hey, we're about to shut down the VIP sale. Go ahead and snag your items. Now, the thing is, with this VIP launch, we're doing code-based because this is purely on email. These offers are not going to be public, and these are purely for the email and SMS list. That's where we're keeping it very, very close tied. Now, the following day on the 21st, we're going to switch to our main Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer in the pop-up, and now we have BFCM week. So on the 24th, we're going to do a hype-up email with some social proof. We're going to do a countdown to Black Friday text. On the 26th, we'll do a happy Thanksgiving ahead of time, so that way we're still on top of their minds. And on the 28th, the big day, is when we're going to do any price updates. So we want to make sure that checkout process is as frictionless as possible, meaning people are able to easily check out on the website without doing codes or without trying to look for links or anything. So we're just going to update all the prices, and we're going to send out 3 Black Friday, Cyber Monday live emails, morning, afternoon, and evening, mainly to anyone that hasn't opened the previous email. So if you open up the morning email, you're not going to get the rest of the 2. If you didn't, you're going to get the afternoon one and the evening one, and so on and so forth. Same thing with text. We're going to send out 2 texts during this time to make sure that we're capturing everybody here, not only on email and SMS. And then on the 29th, Saturday, we're going to do a text only Black Friday, still on double send. So again, 1 in the morning and then sending it out to anyone else that hasn't opened in the latter half of the day. And now on Sunday, we're going to do a Black Friday last chance email and SMS double blast, basically telling them that like, hey, our Black Friday deal is almost over. But the thing is, everyone knows that Cyber Monday goes on. So the following day, we're going to do another pricing update depending on the client. So if they're actually adjusting offers or if they're running the same offer, we'll switch that out. We're going to switch to our main Cyber Monday offer on the pop-up, and we're going to send out 2 emails and 2 SMS text saying Cyber Monday is live. On the 2nd, we're going to do a Cyber Monday is almost over type text or type email. And then on the 3rd, we can do a Cyber Monday extended email and SMS to make sure like, hey, we're extending it for another day. And then on the 4th, we're actually going to do our last chance. So this is the last chance. And then Friday, we're going to switch all the prices back to normal and switch to our main pop-up offer. And that's pretty much it when it comes down to the sending calendar and the sending schedule. So everything has its piece. Obviously, we don't want to overdo it and send out 30 emails a day because that is ridiculous, but this is a pretty stacked calendar and it does take a lot of work in order to have it successfully run like a machine. Now, as far as some examples go, I'm going to just walk you through one brand, but in this file that again, you can download in the link down in the description, you'll see 5 to 6 different brands that we've ran Black Friday, Cyber Monday for, and you can download and see some examples of emails that we've sent out. But here for Chuga, we're doing a VIP early access Black Friday sale. Join the waitlist, enjoy the perks, works. We're, talking about early access, the products, and stress-free shopping, highlighting those. And then here's a confirmation email of like, congrats, you're in the VIP list. Start filling up your cart. So we're kind of like making them do one step at a time. And then for VIPs only, enjoy 30% off. Use code VIP30, again, coded only. Last chance for 30% with a timer, with all of the products that they offer. And then now Black Friday is like, this sale is on, 25% off site-wide. So again, no code needed, making it as smooth as possible. Another follow-up email with a testimonial base, and then give the gift of wellness, more of like an angle for gift giving or making sure that we're preparing for gift giving, buying ahead of time, that sort of thing. And then a last chance, and then an extension for the Cyber Monday sale. Essentially, we have about 9 or 10 emails going out during that time period. But again, there's a lot of resends during that time, as well as text-based emails that I did not include in here. Again, you can download this in the link in the description, but here's some last-minute tips to get the most out of BFCM. Embed all your coupon codes in all the links. Make sure it's easy to access. Utilize timers in the last chance emails. Use plain text, founder-style emails for cut-through, and aggressively resend campaigns with new subject lines to make sure that you're getting into most of the inboxes. Next, let's look at how BFCM emails should actually look like, the kind of offers, and how the design plays in. Here's how to stand out in the most competitive inbox window of the year. So here we are in the Figma file that goes over the entire strategy again. So you can go through the entire strategy, the tactics, the actual calendar. The link is down in the description below to get it downloaded. It's the first link. But today, again, we're going through the actual email examples, the subject lines, the nitty-gritty details that I may have glossed over last week. So last week I did go over Chuga emails, but you know what, let's switch it up a bit and go through Research Verified. Research Verified is a supplement brand that specializes in supplementing for older adults, 50s, 60s, 70s, and whatnot. So a lot of it is catered to the old crowd. Now, the way that we ran BFCM last year is we did an early access sale, number 1, and then we did a major Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, number 2. So once we have people sign up for the early access, initially we prompt everyone on the list to sign up. And once they sign up, they get the actual confirmation email saying like, you're in, start shopping on November 21st, which is when we launched our early access sale. Now, one of the things that we did do in the early access launch is we actually highlighted some of the benefits of, here's your chance to be the first in line, join our early access waitlist for exclusive first look on Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, where you'll find the best prices on top products. And this is the perfect opportunity to stock up on your favorites months ahead, so that way you can save money. Now, when we actually launched the VIP sale, we had a timer at the top to show that like, hey, this is only going on for 48 hours. That's how VIP sales work. We want to have them for a short window and then completely shut them down. So our subject line is VIP access starts now. Save big with up to $175 off on 1, 3, or 6 bottles. So the preview line already has some offer language in there just to get them through the door. As we go through, we have exclusively for you, we have some of these mock-ups. We have a stacked offer going on here. Instead of 50% off or 40% off or any base discounts, we were kind of like trying to stack the offer here to increase the amount of average order value that we get in. If they get 6 bottles, they have $175 off. If they get 3 bottles, they get $75 off. If they get 1 bottle, they get $10 off. So basically buy more, save more. Talked about that in the last video, but here we're highlighting it further with the actual offer. Experience the difference. Again, going through that, and then we keep highlighting it here with the last chance email. Again, having that timer at the top showing urgency and scarcity that like, hey, it's only for a limited time. We also had some of their best sellers on here going through if they want to buy those bottles. And then here is the actual Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer. So same offer tier essentially of 6 bottles, 3 bottles, 1 bottle, but we're going with a % off instead of $1 off. It seems like during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or at least Black Friday, people love to see bigger numbers and bigger discount numbers. So if we could go 60% off or 50% off, that means we're able to sell through more. And at the same time, because it's a supplement products have very, very good margins. So in this case, we were able to push to 60% and then tier down as we're going through. So even here, we're kind of using the Starbucks pricing model. If you're not familiar with what that is, we have 1 bottle is just 15% off. So we're pushing people to buy at least 3 to 6 bottles to get massive
maximum savings. Again, driving up average order value, driving up net profit throughout this sales period. And as we go through, we have like turmeric, resveratrol, glutathione, all of these major best-selling supplements. And as we go through, we keep highlighting the discounts of like 60% off, more supplements. And then now we go cyber, which is like science-based formulas. Oh no, we still have more emails. But we're trying to back it up with real results and as well as a testimonial. And we're going final hours of Black Friday savings. This is more so sent on Sunday. So we're going Black Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then on Sunday, we're sending out a final email, essentially. And then we have one last email here, or this is actually an SMS. This SMS here is the same thing. This is the image that we use for the SMS, and the message is just Black Friday is officially here, but inventory is quickly selling out. Shop the deal before it's too late. Now moving on to Cyber Monday, and here we kind of have like a cyber effect on one of their best sellers, and the deal goes on up to $170 off. So we reduced that offer. You know, if you remember, we had $175 off, $75 off, and $10 off. So now we had like an extra $5 of margin. So $170 off, $70 off, and $7 off. Discounts already automatically added to cart and whatnot. So one thing to consider is if you're doing a VIP sale, you want to make sure that the VIP sale is coded so that way you can track and attribute purchases from email, number one. But also number two is that it's gate kept only through email. And that's your main selling point. You're not launching your VIP to everybody because we want people to sign up for the email list, grow your email list so that way we can capitalize later on in December and Q1 and Q2 of next year. So we want people to sign up for that exclusivity and get those best deals on the VIP sale. Once the VIP sale is over, that's when we unlock all of the deals for everybody in public. So that's when we have the banners on the websites. That's when we have call to actions on our socials, call to actions on our ads, that sort of thing. And during these times, that's when you want to reduce the friction as much as possible. So we want to tell them through email, but we want to make sure that all of the discounts and the offers are actually done through site-wide rather than a coupon code. Searching for a coupon code is only going to be more and more frustrating, and especially if you're trying to buy something really quickly and whatnot, you might lose the coupon code, and you may lose that conversion as a customer or as a brand. Here we still have site-wide sales for Cyber Monday, just going through Cyber Monday deals, best sellers, and then here we have cash them while you can, last chance to save up to $170 off. And again, this is just our last call, final push. Are you enjoying some of the strategy that we're going over and want something like this implemented for your brand during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Go ahead and click the link down in the description below, book a call with me, and I'll go through the entire strategy that we run through with our clients and how you can implement it for your brand or have us implement it for you. Up to you. Go ahead and click that link down below, and I'll see you on the call. Let's get back to the video. Another brand that we did BFCM for last year, and similar strategy where it's save the date. We want to let people know when our early access VIP sale is going on. We want to have them join the wait list. And then when the VIP sale happens, this one was more so for 12 hours. It was very quick, very short, but the people that got in got a really good deal. And we're doing a flat 30% off with the code VIP30. Again, locking it down for just email and SMS. And we have the different Vital Charge, Vital Pro, Vital Elite, all have the price marked down. So you can see you get like $100 off the Vital Charge, like $135 off the Vital Pro, and $300 off the Vital Elite. So all of these have different prices, of course, but the goal here is that they're getting 30% off, and it's a flat 30% off everything. Now, again, doing a last chance, final hours left on the second email, again, just highlighting those discounts even further. And now we have the actual Black Friday deal go on. So it's get up to $450 off your red light therapy device. And this is the main call to action of get up to $450 off, because that is how it is with this Vital Charge premium bundle. And this is like a mix of bundle, but also utilizing the discounts properly. Here we have, get the Vital Charge and the Vital Elite bundle for only $1,000 instead of paying $1,500. Vital Charge and Vital Pro bundle is now $400 off. The actual charge is about $80-ish off. The Pro is another like $130 off. And then the Elite is a steeper discount than what we had before. Actually, no, it is not as steep as the VIP sale. So we made the VIP sale a little bit juicier for the people that are there, but we're also trying to get those bundle deals happening because we want to raise that AOV as well as go through more stock, especially for this brand that has a ton of stock that they wanted to get rid of, especially of the Vital Charge, because they're moving on to the next generation of the product. We continue to go through the exclusive access of deals ending soon, save before it's too late. And then we went with a gifting angle on Sunday and also going over some of the benefits, quickly highlighting the selling points if someone is still on the fence on whether this device is right for them or whether they can gift this over to someone else. We're also doing a final hours before Black Friday shuts down, and then Cyber Monday happens. This is where we have the code of $4.59 off plus extra discount. So again, we're just trying to push harder and harder. So now it's like an extra couple dollars off, slashing the prices even further. Now for this brand, they could swing it. Again, they have better margins and they were able to swing it, and they had a lot of inventory that they needed to get through. So for them, it made sense to highlight and go really, really deep with the discounts. But for the most part, we don't have to go through this much of a discount. You can always step up in Cyber Monday and not give too much of a discount. So the main takeaways from this is make sure for the VIP sale, keep it code only. Everything for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, have it site-wide. Try to launch the VIP sale a little bit earlier than Black Friday. We typically go a week to a week and a half before the actual Black Friday day happens, not only to get spikes in the revenue earlier, but also to basically gauge interest and test through different offers before finally launching Black Friday.
And finally, let's make sure you don't fumble your biggest opportunity of the year. These are the most common BFCM mistakes that we see that crash revenue, and I show you exactly how you can avoid them. The first mistake, and this is by far the most crucial mistake that I see being made every year by dozens, if not hundreds of brands, is turning off all of their pop-ups during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Now, the theory behind this is you want to turn off your pop-ups so that way you reduce any bounces or reduce any friction from people visiting the website and checking out. But the thing is, the data says otherwise. We still see a very, very high conversion rate during the sales periods because people are there to buy. And if a pop-up comes up to capture your email or your phone number, that is where we want to capture that data because we're having so much traffic visit the website. If anything, this is one of the highest traffic periods during the year. We want to capitalize on that as much as possible. And we do that by collecting phone numbers and emails, because when we get those phone numbers and emails, we can then utilize them during Christmas or the holiday period, as well as roll into Q1 with a head start with a bigger list. So you want to keep your pop-ups live during Black Friday in order to get the most signups on your list. Now, the next point is once people do subscribe to your list, you want to make sure that you have your double opt-in turned off. Now, what this simply does is once you subscribe, you put your email in, you put your phone number in, and then you'll get an email saying, do you want to confirm this subscription? 90% of people don't subscribe. They ignore that email, and guess what? That email you just collected, you can't email them because they didn't reply. If they didn't reply, you can't email them. So we want to turn off double opt-in settings. So what you want to do is go to your list settings, go to lists and segments, go to your main newsletter list, go to settings, go to consent, and then click on single opt-in. So that way, when someone signs up for your email list and you have their email captured, you can still email them even if they didn't double consent. So you get to use a lot more of your list, and at the same time, all the list capture that you do actually moves the needle forward. You're not stuck trying to confirm consent from someone to email them. The next thing I see most brands slip up during this high frequency period is actually having auto billing turned off. Now, in theory, again, it makes sense to have auto billing turned off because at the end of the day, you don't want your bill to go up every month. But during a high frequency period like this, where you're going to be sending hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of emails, you want to make sure that you're not throttled by your billing cycle. If you go above your sending limit within your account, you'll have your bill increase temporarily while you're sending out so many emails and trying to capture as many sales as possible, so that way you can then dial it back. We've seen time and time again brands that have auto billing turned off, and when their main Black Friday send is about to go out, it gets throttled or paused because their scope is a lot lower. So they didn't have auto billing turned on, and all of their emails that were supposed to go out didn't go out because of a billing issue. Now, to avoid this, you're going to go to Klaviyo, you're going to go to settings, you're going to go to billing, and then you go to preferences. And then here you have email upgrade. So in this case, you want to click on flexible overages, so that way you can include an extra 5,000 email sends, but most of the time, most brands that we work with, they send out about 50 to 100,000 emails per campaign. Here, we want to do automatically upgrade. So it'll automatically upgrade at a 10,000 monthly send interval until you get the final bill. And then in December, you can lower it, or in January, you can lower it. So that way you can automatically downgrade your plan as it goes. And even then, you can have automatic downgrades. So you will not be able to automatically downgrade profiles with this option, but eventually you will be able to automatically downgrade once you go back to none after the busy sending season. The next thing is having your synced data properly. So when you're on Klaviyo and you see this, where it's like recent data, most recent events were 2 months ago, you want to go ahead and click on re-import this data, because if your data is inaccurate between Shopify and Klaviyo, you're going to have a lot of missed messaging go out, whether it's for your abandoned cart or abandoned checkout or post-purchase. So you want to make sure those events are firing correctly. Otherwise, all of your emails are just not going to go out properly, or they may be missent, or maybe they send too late, that sort of thing. So we want to avoid that and make sure that we have all the proper data being imported recently. So click on re-import, click on update settings, and you should be good to go going forward. Now, the next thing is utilizing resends. Now, resends are a very popular way to send emails out to people that didn't open your previous campaign. Now, you want to make sure that you're utilizing the proper resend segments. And I've built this out, and this has been a charm to use on future resends. So how we do it is during Black Friday in the morning, we'll send out an email to everybody saying like, hey, Black Friday is live. Here's our sales, here's our promo. And then in the afternoon and the evening, we resend emails to anyone that hasn't opened or hasn't bought. So we utilize this segment to exclude people that have already received an email and have already opened an email at least once in the last 1 to 4 hours. So here is the segment definition. We want to go ahead and include that someone opened an email at least once in the last 4 hours, with Apple Privacy Open being false, or they opened an email at least in the last hour, or clicked an email in the last hour. This makes sure that everyone that has gotten an email in the last 32 hours has opened or clicked an email in the last 1 to 4 hours. Because if they did, we want to exclude those people and exclude this segment, so that way when we do resend to people that haven't opened, they're truly the people that haven't opened and are more likely to open that email, because we're just following up and bumping up that email. Now, the next couple things I just wanted to lay out in a presentation because it's a lot easier to cover. Subject lines are very important. They are make it or break it for your email itself. You know, if no one's going to open the email, what was the point of designing it in the first place? You want to avoid big capitalized text with exclamation points. That is one-way ticket to spam bill. You want to avoid capitalizing a lot of letters and using a lot of exclamation points, because that is one way for Google, Yahoo, Apple Mail to see that it's a spam email. So instead, you want to keep your subject lines very short, 35 to 45 characters max, because in mobile inboxes, your subject line does get cut shorter. You also want to use curiosity-driven or specificity-driven subject lines, and you want to lead with benefit or a unique angle, and you also want to use first name personalization or day of the week personalization. So here's some examples that we utilize and they work really, really well. Early access, John, your cart is waiting. Or you asked for it, John, it's finally here. The 48-hour deal our VIPs begged for. Don't refresh, prices are already dropping. Or we didn't do 50% off because of this. Or here's why. And another pro tip is you can use almost like a reply or in regards to a previous email in order to get those higher open rates. Just use them sparingly and don't overdo it. Same thing with emojis. Utilize emojis, but don't overdo it, because if every email has an emoji, then every email isn't as special as it could be. Now, the next thing is the design side. By the time you're watching this, you may have already gotten your designs created and set up. Going forward, I would highly, highly recommend keeping everything important above the fold. The fold is essentially the first thing that you see when you open up an email, a website, a landing page, whatever it is. So you want to have all that important information in the most first and foremost section. That means all of your headlines, all of your call to action, all of your discounts and offers and coupon codes. And then lastly, which is one of my next points, is using a countdown timer to create urgency. All of this information is critical to making sure that the consumer, once they open the email, they quickly understand what's going on, what product is being promoted, what the offer is, and why they need to act on it fast. All of this information is what causes the conversion to happen at such a rapid pace. And then on top of that, a lot of emails that we see are designed for desktop, which makes sense. A lot of the emails are designed on desktop. We see a lot of problems with mobile issues where they maybe have too small of a text or too small of a call to action. So you want to make sure that all of your designs are mobile ready first, because that's where most of your opens and purchases are actually going to happen from. Now, let me show you some examples of what effective above the fold sections look like. So we have a supplement brand, a men's accessory brand, and an outdoors brand. And all of them have all of the elements I just talked about, where up to 70% off country DNA camo, shop now, very high and prominent. And then we have buy more, save more, where save 20% extra with purchases under 150, and then save 30% on orders over 150. And we have all of these codes here as well. With Comsos, here we have the timer, final hours for 40% off, shop now, making those buttons very, very high contrast. And then with Chuga, same thing for VIPs only. We have a timer at the top, enjoy 30% off, use the code VIP30, shop now, and save with a product imagery. All of these include product imagery, coupon code, call to action, timer, and easy to understand offers with imagery that ties into the brand and making it look on brand. Now, moving on to utilizing those timers, I highly recommend utilizing countdown2.com. And you can make this very easy and simple. You can just put in the event name, or you can leave this blank. You can put in the actual due date on when this thing is going to go live, Central, English, repeat none, link, and then it will go ahead and actually create a countdown clock for you. It's very easy. You just take the code, plug it into Klaviyo, and then you have the best way to create countdown timers that just work. And the last thing I'll leave you with this is we have a lot of coupon codes here where it's like save 20% extra or save 30% off. One of the last things that a person will do after seeing your email is click on a call to action. Now, where a lot of brands drop the ball is when they do the handoff from an email to the website is they don't include the coupon code within the actual email URL. So once you click that call to action, you add your items to the cart, you're going to checkout, and then when you're at checkout, you have to go back to the email to find the coupon code. Now, all of that introduces so much friction. So what we do is we include our coupon code embedded within the URL on every single email. I do this with a simple tool, which I'll include down in the description. You can download it for free, where all you have to do is just put in the coupon code, put in the URL, and you'll get a final URL that you can utilize in all of your emails. Highly recommend download it. Just click on File, make a copy, and then you can create your own editable version. Now, I know this was a massive video. So if you loved it, hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button down below. At the end of it, if you want us to actually take care of this entire strategy for you, go ahead and click the link down below and schedule in your free call. All that being said, if you like this video, you're probably gonna like this video as well. So go ahead and check that out afterwards. It's Nikita, and I'll see you in the next one.